welcome to the Codcast. This is episode 4 of this season. It's been electric so far. Appreciate you guys all showing us love, YouTube and audio listeners. It has been awesome. We got so much to talk about today. I mean, we were making a list of things we want to talk about that we already pivoted to the initial script, and we're starting off with something else. We have some special guests today to kick things off. For the entirety of the show, we're going to have Rambo Ray. Shout out Rambo Ray, absolute legend, joining the show. We'll switch to the scene where he is here. And then we also have JP in the channel as well. Where we're going to be talking about something that Ben was discussing on his stream yesterday in loaning players to start things off. But before we get into that, Ray, how you been, man? Well, you are a dad. How is that going?
The dad life's great, man. It's been super awesome so far. I'm knocking on wood as I'm saying this, but we've had it pretty smooth. I hope you have a smooth child situation, newborn situation like I did when your time comes. But yeah, the dad life's awesome, man. Seriously, it's something I wish I would have had done sooner.
Dude, we're getting older, man. All of us, everybody's having kids, and we're all growing up. It's awesome. But yeah, man, it's been awesome to see, and I'll be there soon enough, dude. We'll be getting our dad strength probably. What do you think, like a year or two?
Yeah, I think so.
I think yours came in.
The start's a little more dad bod, and then the strength comes in as the kid gets bigger, I think.
Hell yeah. Well, we got a lot to talk about today. A couple of dads, and let's get into this one. So Ben, yesterday you were talking about loaning players, and there's been some rumors like Abe potentially on loan from Koi on his team, and then talking about what was the other player you said was on loan? Legend.
Do we want to, before we talk about the loans, do you want to back up? Like, shouldn't we back up and explain like the 2 roster moves that are supposedly occurring? Talk about those, and then we can talk about the loans.
Well, we'll get into that because those might get announced as we're talking. So let's start with loans. Let's start with this. We were already discussing this, right? This is why we started.
Yeah.
So the reason you were talking about this, right, was because you got word, some rumors, or somebody hit you up and told you that a couple of players were on loan. I wanted you to talk through this graphic you made here and what this might mean, because we were having a great discussion.
If you want to zoom in, also hit the plus button in the top left of the window. So basically where this started from is, I had a conversation with Hector a couple days ago. If you haven't seen it, I've posted the whole 5-hour yap on YouTube. It's a doozy, but it's a really good convo. JP was there as well.
5 hours.
We had a great time with Hector talking all things CDL. And in that convo, Hector basically alluded to, due to a number of reasons, the original structure of the deal in which, Legend, their Halo player, was, on Vancouver Surge to start the season. It was actually a loan structure. His rights were actually still owned by Optics. So I thought that was interesting. So I started asking around, because I had thought, because back in the CWL days, people did loans all the time, right? FC Black, we did it at FaZe quite a bit, especially in Black Ops 4. It was fairly commonplace by like the end of the CWL. And it hasn't happened as much as I can remember in the actual CDL proper until I guess now. And so doing some digging around, it seems like there might be a couple of players who are currently in the league also under the same structure of deal. And as we'll get to over the course of this episode, there is a player who is in the process of, as per reported by Ronnie Intel today, is in the process of going to move to LA Thieves in a substitute role. And it seems like that may be a loan structure in which Optic is loaning a player to Thieves. So I wanted to kind of like cover kind of what a loan is. People that follow like European football, world football, I'm talking about soccer, probably know what loans are, but some of y'all who maybe just follow American sports, you're probably like, well, what does this mean? And essentially what it is, it's an agreement between the parent club, the club that owns the rights of that player, and the loanee club, the club that they are going to. And there are essentially like 3 structures in which this can happen. And there are variations of this, but I simple it down to 3 because I think this is the best way to understand it. So you have like a straight loan, right? A player is loaned to another team for a certain amount of time. There may be loan fees, salaries shared between the 2 clubs, or maybe only one of the clubs plays. There's some incentive targets that are hit. And after the end of the loan time, that player goes back to their parent club, right? So let's say you have a deal with a player and it goes to the end of the season after champs. Cool. They're back to being on Thieves or Optic or whoever owns their rights. Straightforward, right?
Yep.
There are 2 other ways that you can structure this. And people were telling us, by the way, if you could turn the volume up in the call on your stream, if you don't mind. You were saying we're a little bit low.
A lot louder. Good.
There are 2 ways, and both basically include a buy clause. So a way for the loanee club to purchase the full rights of said player.
They're trolling you.
One that you. No, I could tell there was a little bit low because I can see the volume in my OBS. One is where the loan is a predetermined buy clause. And this can be in a couple of different ways. It can be an actual like dollar amount that is available over the course of the full loan agreement, or during a certain time period, a buyout clause becomes available. There can also be a version of this where there isn't a predetermined buy fee, but the player and the loanee club have a exclusive window in which only they can negotiate. Okay, there's a couple of different forms, but that's the simplest way to do it. There's another structure, and this is more of a financial vehicle to kick the financial obligations of executing a player transfer down the line. Is you have a loan, and at the tail end of the loan, there's a fully predetermined, agreed upon fee for that player that will then be executed, right? So let's say you don't want to pay a transfer fee now for a player, but you're down to pay it in the summer of 2026. You could do a loan with an obligation to buy. This gets done a lot of European football due to rules called financial fair play and a few other things that teams use to kind of move money around between fiscal years. So those are like the three potential loan structures. And I guess based on the way that CDL does contracts now, which is from my understanding, the league used to have to approve a contract. That's not the case anymore. You're seeing teams explore these other vehicles in order for players to play on teams, but also for their parent club to potentially retain their rights if they think they could be of value to that team down the road.
So I was of the understanding that this wasn't allowed first couple of years in the CDO with the player agreements that they couldn't be loaned.
I'm pretty sure they weren't for like at least the first couple of years.
So my thought is like, when did this change? Because like what you said, if Hector told you that basically Legend was on loan, that's like throws me off of it, because why would a team come into the season with a player on loan starting the year like Surge, and then also like when did this become allowed again? Did you hear from anybody like when this became a thing?
My question to Ray is, Ray, do you know at what point the league stopped having to approve every contract? Was that once the new team participation agreement signed?
That was pretty recent.
Oh, well, that's probably it.
We had to send contracts. I mean, we didn't send the specific contract, like the whole written contract, but I'm pretty sure the first year with Surge was the year. So like, I think it's 2-3 years ago where we actually stopped sending contracts to the league for approval. We still have to send the base metrics of like the player, his age, the time frame of the contract, the cost of the contract.
Yeah.
Like you still send the base information, but you don't actually send the contract itself. I mean, obviously being in the position I don't recall seeing rules against loanership in the construction, like league construction rules. But
it might have been in team participation agreement, like the actual what we would say is a league charter, the agreement between the teams and Activision as far as the structure of the CDL.
Like we're saying, like just think of it in the sense of like a different game. Let's say it wasn't even like COD to COD. Let's say it was like, let's say Ant, who was on Splice before the league started, was loaned to Empire Envy to play for Empire.
Yeah.
Like, would that not been allowed? But he's not even like they could have just loaned him for a year to play COD, but he's not Halo. Why would that be any different than the COD to COD?
Well, my thought is like, if it was allowed, we would have seen this more often, especially like
not
early CDO, right? Because teams had rosters that were really like, they had like 5 subs, some of them, right? So I feel like we would have seen that more often, especially because it's a way for like the team to clear a little bit of its overhead if you're already paying a lot of people on your bench that are substitutes.
I feel like we would have seen it with like some of the bottom teams that may have had like 1 star and we're just like, oh, let's just make a quick buck because like we're not trying to win anyway, so let's just send them to a better team and then get paid for it.
Or like it the Cold War year when Vivid went to Empire or something like that? I don't know. Well, Ray, you were that. So like, was he wasn't loaned, right?
No, we straight up bought him out. And it wasn't, the buyout fee wasn't too extreme in that situation specifically, but yeah, no, it was there. I don't think there was ever a situation where I was even a thought process on what happened, because teams, I mean, that's something that's interesting too. I mean, this derives in a different conversation, but there's never really been trade talks per se.
Yeah. Which
I think that's where the loan aspect would come into play. Because if a team, for the most part, I mean, obviously there's different situations. The loan situation we're seeing now, it comes from like players who are in challengers who are owned by professional teams or like parent companies, professional team, and then they don't want to get rid of that player necessarily because, again, I think I think the Merck situation last year now shows that there is potential hidden talent in the challenger pool. And I think the newcomer guys are going to have a lot more value now to teams in general. So when you have a player in your hands, you don't necessarily just want to be quick to give him away, because who knows? Let's say in this example, let's say Nium did go to Thieves and then he ended up smoking and being the new Merc. Then whoever had him before may not be reluctant on giving him away, or not giving away for anything bigger than they did before. So
yeah. I mean,
but
and now
I think, yeah, just the baseline, like the state of the league for the first 5 years or 6 years until now has really just been player on your roster, play him. If you don't want to play him, either drop him or keep him as a sub, pay him some amount, and then if you don't want to keep him, give him away. And at the end, when you just get rid of him. And that's kind of been the baseline of how things have gone so far.
I mean, I think what you just said is kind of like hit the nail. Like if you're some of these organizations and you pick up, like you guys with Neptune last year, or like Mercules, and it's like a situation where like, okay, we can keep this guy and loan him and maybe, get paid for it. The only thing is, JP, and you came in here talking about like, there's got to be some protection for the player in these instances, because
yeah, I mean, I would have to assume if this loan thing is actually legit, that there's some, all three parties, like the first team, the second team, and the player have to be signing it.
Yeah,
and
they all
agreeing
have
to
to
it.
be. And I would assume
completely fucked.
The league would have to review and approve it too, right? Like,
why?
Yeah.
Why?
I mean, I just feel like there's got to be some protection for the player.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If they're not approving it, then this gets really sketchy. Because like, what happens if a player, let's say we sign an amateur player to a non-CDL contract, and now we want to loan him to a CDL team.
Yeah.
So like,
I mean, he's gonna have to sign a new contract period for that to start with.
He would have to sign a new contract, but with the new team, right?
Well, not necessarily. He signs a new contract to you guys to be able to be loaned.
But then where's the but he would still have to sign a new contract with the new team, because he would have to be agreeing to getting loaned.
I think what you finish your thought, Ray.
I was just saying, like, what we're all discussing is that the new contract to allow him to play for a different team would be a new contract as a whole, which is an amendment to what his contract was before. But his base contract would have to allow him to play in the CDL to start with. So I think it's more like let's say in this situation, Nium is with Optic. Nium signs with Optic CDL player contract that now allows them to play in the league. And then on top of that, the three teams agree to, or whatever, the two parties agree.
That would mean if the whole loan thing with Legend was true, that Legend had signed a contract, a CDL contract with us prior to signing for Surge?
Not necessarily. I don't think it has to be a CDL contract. It just has to be a pro contract. Like, I think because he wasn't a player in COD, where his contract didn't dictate like Challenger, the contract that that's why to me it's just, I mean, what you're describing is right though in a way, because that's why it comes off to me that he was on a loan, because I mean theoretically then he would have to have signed a pro contract with you guys, I guess.
I think in general just there needs to be some type of guardrail in case for the player, because if there's no representation, no CBA, they need to have the ability to like shut it down.
Because I worry that like if a player signs to a team on a subcontract where he's like, okay, I'm signing this team because like if they put me in, this is a roster I can win on, and then they get loaned to like another team where it's like, okay, I'm making this money that I signed to. Well, I guess you would have to agree to the new loan contract as well. So
this is the thing that you're missing, JP, is you have to remember that teams are still trying to win and players are still trying to play well. And like, if you're, say, a big org, right? And you sign an under 18 player or a player that just turns 18, right? You know they're not going to play for your starting lineup soon, but you want them to go somewhere where they can develop, work on their soft skills, continue to understand how to be a professional player, with the idea that down the line they're going to be on your team.
What I'm saying is they should still have a choice.
But let me finish my thought though, because I'm trying to answer your question.
Okay.
I don't see the pro on a team loaning a player to a spot that they don't want to go to. That doesn't make sense to me, because this is still a business of trying to win and trying to get better. So I understand what you're saying.
You can make money off.
But that's the.
Yeah,
what do you mean?
If they're making money off the loan, the team is making money, so they don't care.
If I sign Nium,
they're only making money if on top of covering the player's salary, there is a additional loan fee. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Well, like let's say I sign Nium for
cost.
50K to Optic because he's like, or LA Thieves because he's like, okay, maybe I could take Kenny's spot. And then LAT goes in and like wins the first event. And then it's like, okay, we don't need Nium. And then I go loan him for 150K, but he's only making 50 grand. That's where we're saying like there needs to be protection for the player. You know what I mean?
Well, like the whole new contract would be that protection, right? Like
but what if they're not willing to?
Addition to his,
there needs to be some sort of agreement with the player.
No, 100%.
The player has to agree to it. I think in a loan. My point is.
Yeah, but
that's what Ben was saying about soccer, right? Ben, you were saying about the soccer players, like they have to agree to that, which totally makes sense in the grand scheme, right?
But I guess kind of what I guess
in place.
It's a collaborative process.
But we're assuming that that's in place, though. We just said that, Ray. You just said that the league's not reviewing.
I assume that's in place. I'm just if it's not in place, like let's say Abe didn't want to go to Surge, but I assume he did. Like that's fucked. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and the player's
going to want to. I'd be extremely surprised. I don't think there's a world where the loan situation, the player would be forced to do it. I don't think that makes sense for anybody, really. That's bad PR. That's players not happy. Team that he's going to isn't going to be happy because doesn't want to be there. Right. Like, I don't see a world where that's potentially a thing, regardless of the league overseeing this or not.
At that point, just release the player or they get bought out. Like at the end of the day, the idea of loan is a vehicle. It's not necessarily a vehicle to make money, although realistically it could become one. The idea of a loan is you're in the business to win, and you are taking players who may not yet know how to win, develop that skill to be able to win so they can win on your team. And the same thing applies to the clubs they're going to, is that they're taking a player with the potential to win so they can teach them to win with either they're going to eventually buy out that player or they're going to get short-term use of that player in order to get success. Like that structure is what's keeping ideally the predatory element away, for your point.
Yeah, I'm just assuming that teams are honoring this good faith thing. But like, let's say we were bringing up the situation of Aluka. Aluka signed a phase on a subcontract. They don't need to play him right now. And obviously the whole visa situation, they couldn't, whatever. Imagine if they could, but they were still going to wait till whenever to bring him up. And they wanted to like loan him to Vancouver.
Yeah.
It needs to be on a Luka to be like, okay, I want to play there as well. Like it can't just be Vancouver being like, okay, we'll pay to use him for right now because we can and because we would like to see him play with us. And it's on phases like we're gonna get either part of his contract off our books for a little bit, or he's just gonna go for a small period of time and then he'll still be available to us because we don't need him right now. But at the end of the day, he needs to be able to be like, I will be willing to play for Surge right now. That's all.
You have to remember, JP, if you loan someone to a place where they're not going to play well, you tank their value. That's the thing, is that there's a bit of a game here, but like mutual success is important to both sides, both for the player developing to the talent they are and for that club, because eventually that player is surplus to requirements. Yes, they can sell them down the line for ideally a increased value at that point.
I'm just saying, again, you're going in the interest of the team wanting to.
No, also the player though, in that mutual symbiotic relationship.
But the player needs to be able to like accept that, because he can completely tank his stock because he has to play for this new team now. There's like, at the end of the day, he has to agree. That's all I'm saying. Like,
yeah, and I don't think teams are. In European football, you don't see this. Like, if you're loaning a player, there's a two-way conversation. It's like, okay, here are the options. Here's our advice. Where do you want to go? I want to go here. Obviously, they have to agree to personal terms with that team. Cool, you figure it out. I's are dotted, T's are dotted, bada bang. That's usually how it's done.
No, I mean, I hear what JP's saying, though, because we're just assuming that, these things are done in good faith. But we could definitely see teams I could see teams trying to make money off this. That's why I just hope the league is still reviewing these situations.
I'm just surprised these rules are not public, so we don't like. If the rule was public and it was like, okay, all three parties need to accept, sure. But right now we're in the complete fucking dark.
I just didn't even know.
I'm assuming.
Yeah, I'm
assuming they're acting on good faith with this whole situation.
Yeah,
but you never know. People are saying I'm tweaked out, lost. Like,
you're not tweaked out.
If you're a player and you have to be shipped out to Vancouver because you signed a player contract with FaZe and you're expecting to play on FaZe, and you don't because there's no actual like
or they go and succeed at Major 1, and then it's like, okay, instead of cutting them, we can just loan them and make money off, right? So that's where the question becomes fair. I guess we'll see going forward if there's 2 players that are on loan, and this is what some of these teams are going to start doing. We'll see how this plays out. But I wish it was a little bit more transparent because I didn't even know that Abe was on loan or legend, nor do we know the details of these.
To be clear, I had 2 people who work in the front offices. They work with teams. Tell me that. So obviously, KO can come out and maybe contest that. I will say we do know this Nium structure based on the reporting from Ronnie Intel today. That is a loan structure between Optic and Thieves. And if you pull up the Ronnie article, like the reason the loan's actually the reason that he wasn't on Carolina because he ended up or supposedly going to end up on Thieves because Optic never signed their end of the loan agreement.
Wait, repeat that?
So pull up the Ronnie article, and this gets into the Nium thing, which we'll kick the can on that and probably discuss that in a bit.
Yeah,
but
we can move on to
like
this.
the Nium thing, he was supposed to go to Carolina, and the reason that didn't happen, if you scroll down, is that his obligation.
Chat, some background.
He was supposed to go to Carolina.
Hold on, Ben. Background. So last night there are some reports that Nium was joining LA Thieves for Kenny. People were tweeting out. We had like 3 different accounts tweet out about it. And then Hydra replied and shut it down and basically said, absolutely not true. So then some people said, okay, he's going to be a substitute. And this is the Ronnie article. Sources, Nium joins LA Thieves as a substitute. And you said down here, what does it say? Let's see. Fortunately for Nium, while he had signed a new contract, Optic hadn't signed their part of the agreement yet. If they had, the deal would have been finalized and the opportunity with LA wouldn't have come to fruition. Oh. Nium was contacted by management from the LA Thieves who advised him to hold off signing and offered him a substitute spot on their roster. Interesting. So, so has he signed? Do you know this, Ben, or no?
So I'm not sure. This is a lot of implications. Like
it is a lot.
I don't know if this counts as like I don't know what league rules if this is a tampering situation.
Yeah, like telling him, yo, don't sign.
This is a weird one, bro. This is a super weird one.
Because oh man, this could get so
yeah, but I at that point, like I don't know. Like there's no draft picks, so you can't. This is punishment, whatever. The point I'm trying to make is that this ended up being just like a weird 11th hour thing, and I don't know if Nium got cold feet or what, but this is the complication with these loan things. There's a lot of moving parts, and again, if everybody's on the same page and everybody doesn't sign, like it can get aborted.
Well, to me, like the other rumor is that Exceed's joining Carolina, and if we see Exceed get announced on Carolina, then that means that this is likely true. All this Nium stuff, right? So because Nium was apparently their first choice, was also the other rumor. Like I was under the assumption Nium was going to be on that team. So I guess we'll learn the answers to all of this today, but that just jumps us into the next topic. Let's talk about this right here in the LA Thieves situation. Ray, what are your thoughts on potentially Nium being a sub on this team or potentially him coming in for Kenny in general, which was like what was circulating the last 48 hours?
I mean, Paco shut down the whole him coming in for Kenny right away. I would always trust a player. If a player's going to come out on social media and say something, that's got to be law, right?
Yeah.
I think the FaZe Lucas situation kind of like is the beginning of the re-up of subs in the league. Not necessarily for the intent to play them during the season or right away, but more so protecting their future. Like if let's say again, the Merg situation last year was, I think obviously Trav, but Trav was more of a known factor, like Neptune, sorry, just so people are understanding who Travis is. But like Neptune had played in the league before, Merc hadn't. Merc came out and completely changed Optics spiel for the end of the season. I think that kind of just proves out that like if there are players that are worth having on teams out there, it's worth taking a risk on them early and paying the subcontract if you have the money to do it. So I think you're going to see a lot of top organization again with players who are like, from my understanding, FaZe, there's a few players, or the main player on FaZe's contract's running out at the end of the year. There's going to be the same situations for Thieves. So if I'm those teams, I think it makes total sense to try and go out and grab players that have the potential to be replacing those guys and not wait out till the end of the year or potentially them getting on other teams and signing 1+1s to where now they're stuck with that team for the next year or you have to buy them out. So I think that's something that at the start of the league you saw a lot of, like Toronto with 5 subs. I think that was kind of the mindset for some of these teams was like, hey, let's just hire as many good players as we can, and then we can figure out who's really worth putting on our rosters. As years went on, teams became more reluctant because that really didn't happen that much. those players just ended up being kind of paid for no reason. I mean, obviously in some cases it helped, but not very often. Especially for the bottom teams who don't have the money to spend are not going to do that.
Well,
so I think. Go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say, well, there was a time where like Bose and Maniac were subs at one point, right? Like,
I mean,
one of the things that Tommy and I in our first season in Cold War we used to talk about a lot is how stupid teams were with their sub. Like a key thing in the first 2 years is teams that had one sub. To your point, they were picking up fucking content creators. No disrespect to the Bose and Maniac, but at that point, their playing careers were in a different spot, and they were more, influencers. And you had teams picking up main ARs. They were usually veteran types, friends of people on the team. But then when there was a roster change down the line where they needed an aggressive sub player who there were not a surplus of, they didn't have someone on their roster then instantly fill that spot. So they ran into role issues. When I worked it in. And Tommy and I all the time were like, bro, people are just not thinking ahead correctly on the moves they're making.
Well, we talked about this on the last episode and kind of exactly what Ray just said, where it's like these players coming up, like they've been like CDL ready, a lot of these guys. So it definitely makes sense, especially if you got a guy like Simp whose contract's going to be up, or you look over to LA Thieves if it's like a Hydra whose contract's going to be up. Like it just makes sense to sign these guys. So I more so lean like this is probably legit if he's joining as a sub, just prepare themselves for this upcoming offseason. Man, we might see this way more often throughout this year, especially going into the next split after this elite goes through and you see the performance of some of these guys. I think we're going to see a lot of teams kind of following this just in preparation, which will definitely be interesting,
you can take
especially
this to
with the loan we just talked about.
You can take this to the nth degree.
So what Ray was saying too, like I mean, what Ray was saying was basically it connects to the loan stuff now too. Now,
yeah,
like,
it does.
what's stopping people from just hoarding a bunch of challenger players, right?
That's what I would do.
I mean, this is a good question for you guys. I'm not sure of like the exact specifics, but if you were to sign a bunch of amateur players, and you ended up wanting to loan them, how does that first contract you sign with them work? Does it have to be a CDL contract? Like eventually, I guess with the new org, but who, like if I sign someone, let's say to a $1,000 a month contract, are they in possession
of the rights
like,
to the player?
My org? Like, saying? Do you have the rights?
You're asking a question. So the problem, I think it's an interesting question. The problem with your question is we don't know what the team participation agreement is. Okay. Mm-hmm. We don't know what that league chart, that's essentially a league charter. We don't know what that dictates rule-wise. We don't know if there's been any additional memorandum in the past or in this year that clarifies some of these rules. And also,
when you're saying rules, you're talking about like the CDL challenger situation, right?
I'm talking about any rules that the CDL league office would have the ability to enforce.
Sorry, I thought you said rule.
Before you break this down, Ben, can I chime in real quick? So like, just to like ask this, like, I guess a little bit more direct or paint a picture for people in chat. Let's just say there's a CDL team and they have some like influencers on their team. Like let's just use like a Zinni, for example, and he's running a challengers team and you sign a bunch of challengers players to like cheaper contracts. Like, but it's like kind of affiliated with the CDL team. Then how does that work? Because then it's like, okay, they're getting paid cheaper.
You're getting into what we call multi-club owner. This is a big problem.
This is what I'm saying. So let me give you the real world. Can I give you the real world example? Can you understand why this gets to very murky territory? Sure.
So Chelsea, Man City, there are a couple of other organizations that were essentially multi-club ownership structures or are multi-club ownership structures in European football and world football. And essentially what you get into is like, you have a big parent club that plays, say, in the Premier League, and they have affiliate clubs or clubs that they own outright, and those are essentially clubs where they loan players to, and they can manage directly because they own that club, the development of said player. So there's always, like with Chelsea, they had, for example, feeder clubs like in the Austrian Premier League, like in the Dutch league, that they had control or partial ownership of. So you start getting with the CDL example, you start getting a cascading relationship of what's stopping like Optic from buying a percentage of Omit, and Omit becomes their feeder club, right? This
is what I'm saying.
Where now you have a prearranged obligation and structure on how those loans work, predetermined fees, and they're essentially an affiliate club. What's stopping them from potentially investing minority ownership in another CDL team? And you see that in Formula One with how Red Bull and RB Racing Bull's relationship works. So
I think we're taking it a little too far ahead.
I mean, we definitely are, but that's my
point, though. It's just to get infinitely complex is the point I'm trying to make. That.
No, 100%. I think more so the base though is like if I'm planning on loaning a player and the team that's taking the loan on, let's say for whatever reason the FaZe situation, Luka was a loan just for whatever reason, right?
Yeah.
Like if FaZe's intent with Luka is to potentially replace him on their starting roster next year,
Correct.
the loan would have to have an end to where they own him at the end of it. Like that's
Yeah.
And at that point, you might as well just buy him out or do whatever you need to do to get him on right away. Like I think the situation where a loan would be if the intent of a team is to use them right away, or let's say in this case that Thieves had potential thought process of replacing a player before the end of the season, then you kind of keep the rights to Nium in a situation, again hypothetically, but you keep the rights of the player you're loaning right away so that you have him ready to go and he can't play for another team in the meantime. Like that would be the two, to me, main situation we would see it being used for the time being. You want to look 10 years down the road where this shit gets like super complex with ownership and whatnot, then so be it. I don't think we're just in the beginnings of that kind of thought process right now.
But like it could play out right now though, right? Because you think like, okay, we signed Nium as a substitute, but we know, and it's with the thought process of, okay, some of these contracts are expiring after this year. We might want to put him in, but then you go out and you win like Major 1, but you don't want to hold this guy back from playing, so you loan him out, right? So I get what you're saying, but it also could play out a little bit faster than.
I mean, it would need like what Ben was showing earlier, like the last of the 3 little clauses he was showing, the potentials, like the end clause was that you own him at the end of it, which didn't make sense to do that. Like I think there's ways that are, I don't want to say basic, but like there's ways to go around to get what you want with that same thought process you just said.
There could be desperation on some teams, I guess.
With them, if you own them at the end of it, I think honestly the best case scenario for this would be teams that are on the bottom but scout like pretty well over the offseason. Let's say Luka got signed to Surge over the offseason, and they know that they're not going to be like doing like the best right now, but they can get a lot of money for Luka on a loan. Like you might as well loan him for the year, get him back next year if you think you were on a rebuild.
So
smartest way to do it.
But let me give you the best example, JP. Right? I've gassed this kid a lot on stream. He's not 18 yet, but Yusuf, Asim's little brother, is fucking disgusting. Okay? If I were Optic FaZe or Thieves, I would be trying to get him, and I know there are legal rules around this, so just to be clear about pre-contracts, I'd be trying to get in some contractual agreement that when he turns 18, he's on my roster. I know that the likelihood of him being starting ready at 18 is going to be a low percentage. So let's get him out onto another team where he can start building the building blocks of being a good teammate. He goes and plays for that team for a year, comes back on the loan. We evaluate. Is he ready? Do we have a spot for him?
Wait,
no.
how old is he,
He
Ben?
goes out for another year of a loan. He's like 14 or 15. But you get my point,
14
though.
for the last 3 years.
Yeah, but you get my point, though. Like the easiest way to think about this, guys, the easiest way to think about this is if you're a top team and you know that you're a fairly stable roster, you can use your increased financial leverage, financial resources, your in-house knowledge to identify young players, get them on your roster so that you have control of their rights, and you can also then control their development. And it can go one of two ways: either that eventually they're part of your starting roster and you're winning chips because of the development you've done, or eventually there's interest and there's surplus requirements and they sell them on. That is the best way, and the best way I see this like structure actually being executed.
No, I agree, but Yusuf might be a little bit too young for that.
Yeah, but I'm trying to give a practical example.
Someone said he's already signed with Omid. Why would he sign with Omid?
Rafi's different if that's the case.
Why would anyone sign with Omid that early? Like, what's the point of that? Is that
guy? Yo, Rafi's got people in 360s.
Is he paying him? How much is he paying him?
Some of the players need to. I mean, not some. I think most of the younger players need to truly understand what they're signing before they get into certain things.
I completely agree.
There's a lot of like
contracts that I've heard. I'm like, dude, what's the point of signing?
No, I mean, I've had to deal with that for the last few years, obviously, with the surge and trying to sign kind of newcoming players. And it's always a pain. Like, I get it, like, right? Like, the amateur teams need to get something from those players. Totally understand.
Yeah.
I just think the players could do a better job of protecting themselves so that they don't, like, it didn't happen for me and my team specifically, but I guarantee there are some teams that probably have said no to a player because of the buyout situation was too ridiculous, or just they simply couldn't afford it.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the day, too, like I guarantee there's a situation too that's the players are going to have to take a hit from the money they can make because of the buyout the team had to pay. If the team doesn't have the money to spend, they don't have the money to spend.
Yeah.
If the player still wants to play, then you got to take less, especially now where there's no limitation to the base. Like that's going to happen, which is, again, that's why it's more so like it's business, right? But at the end of the day, if the players are smart about what they signed originally, then they don't end up in a situation where they're losing out on some money because of that.
You just feel bad for some of the younger players because they don't really know, and it's not like
I mean, trust me, like it's not like we're saying like that. It's just inexperience. It's not like it's just lack of knowledge. They haven't been in a situation before.
Yeah.
They get their first ability to make a little cash guaranteed. They're all excited.
Yeah.
They get free travels to an event. And so, I mean, by all means, if I'm a challenger player, I want those things, right? I'm not going to be able to sustain by just simply not getting travels and hotels and the ability to go to events and potentially make a little cash on the side. That's not something I'm going to say no to, because I know that I'm like, it give me security to keep progressing through the challenger scene before I get my CDL contract if I'm going to get there. But at the same time, you have to think, like, to a certain extent, I feel like some of these really good players need to like learn to bet on themselves a little more, if they have the means and the ability to do it, so that they don't hurt themselves once they get that chance.
Correct.
I
And this
100%
is
agree.
why agents are potentially important depending on the situation you're in, because
even agents,
then,
bro, like
but you got to know they may have agendas, but they can also give you decent advice and negotiate on your behalf.
No,
It depends on the agent.
that's
world.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing, is like, is there like, is it me or agents have not been as prominent in the last year or two? Like I'm just more so saying, like, if we take the CDL, so there's 48 guys in the CDL, the percentage of players that had agents in the starting years was almost, from my experience, was like 80 to 90% from the players that I had to deal with. And then in the last few years, it feels like a lot of the guys have either dropped their agents or switched or even just given up that at all. So I don't know.
Because what happens is, what is the agent? For transparency, I've helped a couple players with this conversation. I just want to be clear. It's, what does the agent provide, right? If your agent works for a CIA, WME Endeavor, like a big talent firm, yes, they're probably a good negotiator. And if 8 or 10% that you're going to give their cut of everything, you're going to get back in the value they're going to get in that negotiation. But they're also going to bring you, depending on the size of your brand and how much content you create, these bundle brand deals and then negotiate agency wide, and you're going to make additional money. When you sign with a boutique agent who's maybe only got a couple of clients, they don't have those brand and partner relationships. You're literally just paying someone to just negotiate your contract on behalf. Is that additional?
Let me stop you right there, Ben. Let me
it?
stop you right there. Just think of the amount of players of what you described will actually be able to utilize an agent.
Correct.
Where they'll get something out of it. Like what?
Correct.
10 guys tops? Even 10 might be a stretch.
max.
Like, and then we go to challenger players, even more so at that point, where they basically have no brands. They're brand new unless they came from a different scene. Like at that point, they literally have nothing to gain from an agent, which to me, like,
Potentially just hurts you more. Like, oh, we got to deal with an agent to sign this guy. Like, yeah, let's move on to the next challenger guy.
Like even from that point, like the challenger guys, I think we've discussed, and I think we all agree, like, are probably the guys who probably need the most guidance, but they have literally almost nothing to gain from that, especially with the starting contract into the league. Like, I mean, and obviously we're saying, let's say the agent takes 5%, like 5% of what they'll end up making in start is not a lot, but it's still something. And is that really beneficial for them? Like, that's the thing.
Well, if you want to take this to the nth degree, in world, this is, I'm gonna get a little bit crazy.
Wait, I gotta head out real quick. I'll say have a good rest of your show, guys.
Thanks, JP.
I appreciate you. Give us some I go.
All right, peace, boys.
Peace. Ray, in world football, and not every region does this, because this is, I'm gonna explain to you this concept, and you're gonna be like, oh shit.
So let's talk football, man. I know you love it.
Yeah,
no, but this may start.
We're gonna move on.
I'm gonna
right
be
after
honest.
This.
No, this is important, because I actually have heard rumblings that this may start happening in esports, for what it's worth. You have people that approach young persons, less than 18, usually somewhere between 14 to 17. This is what's happening. Rumbles is starting to happen in Fortnite. Of, hey, you're a promising young player, but you don't know where to get started. Sign a deal where I get a percentage of your future earnings, and I will go out and help build a storyline, build your brand, so you can create these opportunities. So what you have is what's called third-party ownership. So now you add complexity to any deal, because let's say you sign a contract, they're also now a party to that contract and a party to the loan agreement. And they provide some of the value of an agent, depending on what your relationship is with them, but not all of the responsibilities. They may negotiate on your behalf, but they may not be going out and getting you brand and partner deals. But they may be going out and running social media campaigns and, talking to people and talking you up. You know what I'm saying? So I find that very predatory, and in football, it's very predatory. But there's rumblings in the esports industry that people are starting to explore this structure as scholastic esports starts to get big, collegiate esports starts to get big. And don't be surprised if in 5 or 10 years you start to see this as an industry. Hopefully, at that point, the publishers have stepped in and prevented this bullshit, but
Yeah.
Right.
it may start happening.
If we take COD per se, name me which organizations in the league can actually do that to a point where it's beneficial for the player.
Like someone make an actual business model out of it.
Yeah, like but a team that can actually pull it, like execute it, like to where they're actually, like when we talk football, right? Like let's say, I don't know, like you named the organizations that are doing this. I'm assuming they're Premier League organizations or teams that are like playing at the top, like the bigger teams, right?
I'll give you an example, and I probably should have seen this when the rumblings came around. But do you remember when there was like a Reddit thread and some on-stream conversations about QK a few weeks ago? And do you remember this?
Yeah,
You know,
when people talk about him being next up. Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
Where were you going
And
with
I don't
that?
remember it was Clay or Dens, but they went on stream and said, we would love like to get QK on a pro team and like we'll be willing to pay a percentage of his salary. If any team I think right
showcase
now
him
has
and
the
expand-
financial
okay.
resources to do this is Falcons. I think Optic Thieves and FaZe, again, at FaZe, we already did this at one point. We did this in Black Ops 4, and for transparency, like at the end, year 0 of the CDL, we sold on players, made a lot of money. Okay, so just to be clear, like that was fairly lucrative. Falcons in particular have the resources to do this for what I assume would be the reasons of not necessarily just developing any players, but try and develop MENA players for future down the line partner sponsorship growth regions within that region.
That was
Right,
honestly,
that's probably a piece of their
a
agenda.
good example. But yeah, I would say Falcons definitely have the
You're saying we,
capabilities.
I work for FaZe. That's why I'm saying fucking we, chat.
All right, guys.
I worked
so
for FaZe at that time. That's why I'm saying we, bro.
All right, we spent quite a bit of time talking. Go ahead, Ray. Go ahead.
I was just more so like where I was going is more so from like the branding standpoint. Like if you're trying to build a player up to where he's gonna have more means than just a playing ability when he gets to it. Like I see maybe like 1 or 2 organizations, maybe 3 in the league that can actually help a player grow before they actually get to the show. Like I mean, I don't know. We don't have to go too much into it.
But that's why I said it's a K-shaped league, though, because I don't think everybody's going to be able to do the Chelsea Loan Army strat. But some will be able to do it or explore it.
That all comes down to their business model. I mean, a lot of teams will just have to change the way that they approach marketing their players and all that. So I think that's like what you're saying, Ben, is this was something that would happen down the line in a couple of years. But yeah, I mean, right now.
This was happening in COD at the tail end of the CWL, stopped because of the CDL. And I guess because the rules have changed, is apparently starting to happen now. And, you know, I think this has got dramatic effects for the future, like, structure of this league. I don't know if it's good or bad. It depends on how people actually structure these deals. But we're at a point now, which is going to make the last point I want to make is like, we already don't know the transfer fees of these transfers. Now we're going to need people to try and dig in like how these deals are structured. The point of different loan structures, are these straight loans? Are there a future obligation that's already predetermined? Like, are they going to have it? Like, there's just, it makes this stuff infinitely complex and tough for the public to track because of now the complexity of the different options that exist for these club to club and player to club relationships.
A lot of change in the future, and a lot of teams looking like they're changing their approach towards roster construction and kind of like you see this first one, safety net. That's the key right here, especially with some of these expiring contracts. In terms of another big roster change that was in the news yesterday on the timeline, Exceed joining the Royal Ravens in place of Slasher. Listen, this isn't confirmed or anything, and I think the community and everybody owes Slasher the time to come out, and if he's retiring, to say he's retiring without stamping that. But this is the rumor right now. So let's talk about this from a perspective of Exceed being on Carolina, what we think could happen for this team. Let's start with you, Ray. What were your kind of initial thoughts on the Royal Ravens coming into the year, roster construction wise? And then do you think Exceed makes them like a lot better?
Sorry, I'm just trying to change my camera settings.
Oh, you're good here with me.
I think it's just so like being in a situation where I was last year in the previous year with Surge. It's just very difficult to be the last dog to the bowl.
Yeah.
I think, and I've talked about this more so on a personal side with people on different streams, but I think if you're a team who is at like, let's say bottom 4, bottom 5 in terms of base like salary amount, like your budget that you have for players for a season, you have to think of it differently. I think you take risks on new amateur players. Like you try and find the next Merc, the next Niums. You try and lock them up early so that you give yourself the more, like, it's a high risk, high reward situation, right? But at least you can pivot and make changes if they don't work out. I think all of those teams should be. I don't know exactly. I know Pat's been very vocal about this on the flank, but the timing at which you make moves is subject to really the team itself figuring out if this is going to work or not. I respect teams who want to make changes when they see something isn't going to work, but at the same time, I feel like you need to give those players the right chance. But I don't know, bro. I think the move isn't necessarily a bad one if they feel like if their scrims are going horribly because all we see is the outside, right? Like we just see the results of their matches. I feel like that's obviously going to be the baseline for really what we see. But in terms of the teams that are the coaches and the staff that's involved with the team on a daily basis, if they're losing a majority of their games and they don't see a potential for getting out of it, then a change is necessary. And if we talk about this change specifically, I don't necessarily think Austin was playing that bad. I just think that potentially they think that they may get something more out of someone else. And I think, again, I hate this because it's so hypothetical and like just speculation, but like Austin's been around for a long time. He probably has a way of wanting to do things. And I think adapting to the CODs these days, like you need to play fast. Like there needs to be speed. Like last year and this year's game is very, very speed centric. And I'll be bringing this up a million times when we talk about predictions later. But I think this is just Austin's very kind of, again, older player, has his way of doing things where he found success doing things. And maybe, again, this is speculation. Maybe they felt like they needed someone else to play faster. Exceed clearly has had the skill to play in the league for a long time. I think again, this is more of an outside thing and again, speculation again, but I think Exceed's issues were more personality clashes with teammates than it is skill. I think, personally speaking, like I think he's always had it to play at the highest level.
I agree.
He showed it at the end of last year at EWC. Like he showed it early this season. Yeah, he's a great player. I think it's to be part of a team and to be successful with a team, you need to have good environment, the good culture around teammates.
Correct.
If it's not going well in that end and players can't get along with each other, and you have one guy who's constantly kind of spiking the punch per se, then it becomes very difficult to be successful. So I hope he's kind of changed some of these ways. I hope he's realized some of these things. And if that's the case, then I definitely think that he can bring more success to the Ravens with this change.
Ray, the only angle that I think you miss is that there's also an angle in this, not on the Exceed side, on the Austin side, that, we talked about this a lot in the flank the last 2 years. At some point, Austin may just wake up one day and be like, you know what? I've had a great career. I've teamed with a lot of great players. But I'm kind of at a point in my career where I'm on these tough team environments that aren't necessarily winning, playing with young players, and pace of the game or not, like I'm just not having fun. And it's time to just kind of move on and do something else. And I wouldn't be surprised in this situation if this is more just also just like, you know what? Like I wanted to stick it out, but I've had a good career. Obviously, work with Brian Saint and the team over there to figure out who would take my spot, but it just is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, they had some success early on last year. And yeah, I mean, this could be more of a thing of Slasher just being done than them being like, we need to move on from him. Like, obviously, Slasher wasn't performing well, but like, you look at the team, they were 0-5 in Respawn through the first couple of matches.
I always have a hard time seeing a player of that stature just calling it quits, bro. I just hate it. Like Austin's still obviously good enough to play this level. I've like said quitting when he quit. Like there's so many players to me that just like you can say something about Sam Octane. Like, dude, like so many of these guys just still have it and still have something to give, and then just like you said, I mean, they're just not about it anymore, or the team they're on just don't think they're about it. It is what it is, I guess.
Yeah. And with this roster, like coming in, you're picking up two challengers players. You're expecting like a lot of pace, and bringing in Exceed. Obviously, maybe he can just kind of be on the same page as them, and maybe they'll find a little bit more success. But yeah, I mean, to Ray's point, no chat. You guys all want to like hive mind, just jump on Slasher. Early last year, Slasher was great when that team was playing well. Like they were good.
They were they didn't finish top 4 of the first major.
Yeah, and the minor, right? Yeah. And like I think it was both the first minors.
They were running up to phase.
And the problem is they just made that roster change. And it just like the team fell off.
But I've talked about this numerous times. We had Austin on the flank a few times. The issues were there before the roster change, that they just weren't.
We don't have to rehash it.
They just weren't taking daily practice serious. Like they were a hot team early. They understood the game early better than a lot of other teams.
We don't have to rehash it. We just know that like in the beginning.
No, I know, but that's a big piece of it though. You know what I'm saying? Like I mean, If you're Austin, it's like, do you want to keep repeating these situations of like, maybe we get hot early, I have young guns, but like they're not locked in. They're not willing to like. I mean, listen, Optic is good, right? Because they're talented, but they also have insane work ethic. You see them on all the time. FaZe, I've seen those guys in person. They're obviously talented. Even the whole team was talented. Those guys work hard. That's why they stay at the level they're at. A lot of teams fluctuate because, yeah, the skill is there, but the effort level is not. The work ethic's not. Yeah, and if you're Austin and you're in one of those situations where you're having to teach players this every year, it can be tiring.
Oh, 100%. I mean, that's definitely a factor.
The game itself changed a lot last year, though, like based on the start to the end. Like the meta and the way to optimally play efficient changed a lot. And I think this year is a continuation of that, which is kind of where I bring in the speed aspect. Like if you're a team with talent that isn't playing efficient in terms of like being quick on getting to what you need to get to and doing it like as a team more or less, then you're just not going to be able to succeed consistently. And I think you saw a lot of teams kind of have those decent starts last year, and certain teams that you were like, oh, these teams don't have a chance. Now it came in towards the end of the year and started kind of rocking the world. So
yeah. I mean, it'll be interesting. Obviously, Slasher is a legend, bro. First ballot Hall of Fame, bro. First ballot Hall of Famer, bro.
100%.
And I'll be excited to hear from him if this is true. But it was circulating yesterday. Assuming it is with Exceed, Ben, I don't think you gave your take. Me and Ray did. Do you think this team improves like enough to where like this is a huge impact, like Exceed joining, where they maybe in dark horse top 6? Like, where do you think this team kind of ends up?
It doesn't really change what I think the key like questions with this team, which is the sub duo, because the sub duo is definitely promising, but like, do they have the discipline and like the gumption and like the it factor against these top teams to raise point, play quick, make quick decisions, beat people to those spots, win those key gunfights in order to make plays for the win? Because that was where this team has struggled. Now, if you watch them play in these recent matches, they can hold their own against these teams, but they get killed in the second rotation of hard points because they're not making the right team decisions. It doesn't change this. I think Exceed may potentially get more kills than Austin. I think their S&D maybe gets slightly better, but like it doesn't solve what the core issue is between them not qualifying for champs and pulling a Boston Breach of last year.
Yeah, I mean, like if we're just looking at like stats, I'm looking at right now, it's not like, you know, Lurks and Craze were lighting it up. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
I mean, you're hoping like an overhaul in your whole play style coming into this one. Bringing Exceed in. Obviously, there's some changes we'll talk about. Subs got to be better. Blackheart's going to be back in. Could help them a bit. But I just feel like Carolina's going to still kind of be in that spot, like, of outside looking in. I thought this team would maybe potentially make a 2-man change, and hell, maybe that's coming. But yeah, for now, I think this is potentially a step in the right direction. Just assuming what we said about Slasher wanting to retire, if that's what it was, then yeah, this is a step in the right direction.
If you just take it for what it is, like Austin had to be the leader in that room, right?
Yes.
Like he was the guy. So it's like you now don't have that leadership anymore, and there's not really. I mean, Brian Saint now as a coach is going to have to step in and take way more control of the reins, I would think, just because of the players they now have on the roster. Unless Exceed's coming in with that thought process, or they're coming in with Exceed with maybe Exceed at the challenge level had seen things differently and they want to play the way he's playing. I don't know exactly. Again, this is all speculation, but I think there's definitely more opening now for changes in the things could get better in how they play, or they could also get worse because now you don't have that experience and guidance from a guy who's been doing it forever.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. Talk about that. Obviously, we all wait for Slasher if he's having an announcement or whatever's happening. I'm sure those things will be coming soon if this is true. But let's talk about the Challenger Elite qualifier. This was electric. I didn't get to watch.
Did we give all our thoughts on Nium though, or do you want to wait on that one?
I think we talked about Nium a lot. I mean, we talked about loan, all that. Nium going to Thieves. Obviously, the contract.
But did we talk about whether or not, I guess if he gets called up, like.
Oh, 2 Thieves? Yeah, we could talk about that right now. Here, let's do it. Yeah, I mean, my thoughts, I mean, I think they gotta see this through Major 1. When I saw that initially and that it was Nium going to Thieves, I was like jaw dropped, like off the rip. Because I'm curious your take, Ray. We haven't talked about this at all. I talked to Ben about this. I went back and I did a couple breakdown videos on the Thieves. And when I was watching them, like my last takeaway was Kenny's performance. like obviously he needs to play better. I just don't think he should be the win condition on that team. And when I was watching, it felt like Hydra and Abizi were not on the same page at all in the way that they were playing. Specifically the hard points. I went through a couple of their hard points, and I was just like, man, they're just timing wise, person taking the routes, like it just was never in cohesion. Like when you watch some of the other teams. And so, what was your take on how Thieves were playing and what their major problem was?
I mean, there's a bigger discussion to have here. Again, like if we talk about just the speed aspect, again, I'm going to be bringing this a million times. I'm sorry if I piss you guys off for this, but
no, you're good.
I think personally, there are two teams in the league who are playing at the pace that you really should be playing for Hardpoint. I think Overload, you could probably have your own little take on how you want to play it, but I think for Hardpoint, you have, again, if you're not playing at the pace Optic, and I would say General Mace is the other team that's playing at that pace right now, you're just going to have a hard time beating those teams consistently. It's not like you can't win games. I'm sure their scrims will have days where they're all firing and everyone's playing well, and you get the right cuts and you have the timings on taking the routes you want to take. But from a consistent aspect, if you don't play the outnumber, push forward, take space on one part of the map, and get control of it fast, you're hurting yourself, and you're forcing yourself to all have to play well on an individual level rather than a team level. And I'm not saying Thieves aren't doing it. I think just they're not doing it consistently to a point. Oh, sorry.
Ray, finish your point, then we'll take a look at
the tweet. But breaking news, Ray's talking.
So if I had to say, like, I think Thieves can probably help themselves a little more on that end. I think that's probably where you're coming from with, like, it's hard to be, like, that's the thing for me, and where there's a lot of nitpicks going on. If like being on having helped coach the Stallions in a challenger scene a little bit. Yeah. Like if you don't play coordinated fast, there are so many like small timings nowadays with how fast players can play and move that it's almost impossible to play the game on how it was played before.
Yeah, like trying to cut everything, it's impossible.
Yeah, bro. It's just it's not even about like they're not doing it right. It's just super hard to do.
Yeah.
Like you almost need to be lucky in some cases to be able to do it right.
Or other team makes a mistake, right? I get what you're saying. Like you got to be on the same page.
That's kind of where I'm getting at.
Like, we push it out, we reflip them again. Like you got to be playing lightning fast now, and Thieves are not doing that. Like they're just not. Hydra likes to kind of get lost and do his own thing, and he just has.
That's why you're saying. Like I just want to finish your point when you were saying like Hydra and Abizi don't look like they're coordinated and whatnot. Like that's if you're playing the game that way, that's probably how it's going to look like. It's not a bash on them at all. I think it's more so like they clearly have the skill and talent to play the game at a high level. I think it's just more so the coordination aspect, how you go about playing the game will show a lot of these cracks and make you look like they are looking in certain times right now. And again, it's like they could easily, to me, they could probably win events playing the way they're now. Are they going to win all the events? Are they going to dominate on the level we've seen Optic dominate the last two events? Probably not.
Yeah. We'll get back into that. We just had breaking news 1 minute ago. Slasher tweets out. Shout out Liddycoat. Call of Duty community. Over the holiday break, I've made one of the toughest decisions I've ever had to make. I'm officially retiring from competitive Call of Duty. Due to the timing of my decision, I didn't have a chance to make a video going in depth with my reasons, so I figured it would be best to write something so you hopefully hear it from me first. I love the game, and anyone who knows me truly understands I live for the competition. I always strive to be the hardest worker in the room, as it fueled my confidence knowing I was more prepared than my opponent. Facts. However, as of late, the game in the current CDL format doesn't inspire the same level of excitement I once had playing for competitive COD. I would love to stay involved in the community in some way, but as of right now, I have no idea what the future holds. Thank you to all my teammates, fellow competitors, and fans for making this journey so special and fun for me all these years. We created memories and friendships that will last a lifetime. Absolutely, Austin. I would also like to thank my friends and family for supporting me all these years and understanding the sacrifices I needed to make in order to be great. Couldn't have done it without you. The end of an era. What a legend, Liddycoat, man. And I gotta say,
awesome.
These type of things always hit me like close because there's so many matches against a guy like this, and he's such a talented and like smart player. He also helped teach so many players as well. That's tough, man.
I mean, we've been there as players as well. Like you kind of had to come to a decision in your career to where it was time to hang it up, and that's never easy. So it definitely hits us in the feels.
Yeah, there's never like a good time.
Thanos, no, hell no. You want to hang on as long as you can, to be honest.
Yeah, man. Damn, bro. Yeah, I wonder what's next for Austin. Hopefully, maybe we can pop in here with us and we could yell at Clouds weekly. That'd be great with the boys. Yeah, man. Chat. Go show some love to Austin if you haven't already. But yeah, so that pretty much confirms what we were talking about with it's looking like it's going to be Exceed, especially if Nium is on that subcontract.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that plays out. Yeah, we lost a great one today. So who's left from back? Is there anybody? There's nobody. Austin was the last one, wasn't it?
Is Brandon now the oldest? Brandon and Tyler Abizi are the oldest players in the league, I think.
Yeah, Ray, is he? That was the last guy. So yeah, it's just Brandon, huh? Wow. This is officially Tej. Can't forget Tej.
Yeah, Tej.
Damn, Tej was once the young
That's
buck. He's the vetty now, the super vet.
That's crazy.
It's crazy. Yeah, Tej and Hook. But Tej was playing Black Ops 2. I was playing Search Chows against Tej in Black Ops 2.
Was he?
Yeah.
But Kyler's not as old as you think because he was playing under 18 in AW. Like if you want to talk about years of service, he's up there, but like actual age.
Damn, bro.
Him, Don, and like the rest of that. Austin teamed with those guys. He teamed with the fucking under 18 in AW, and those guys can play.
Hook and Tej being the super vetties is crazy. We're talking about in the league, bro. Drills. Doug's been in and out. This is a passion project for Doug.
Yeah.
Man. All right. Well, maybe we'll get Austin to talk to him soon on the show, maybe next week or something. But yeah, let's continue what we were talking about. Ben, me and Ray talked about Thieves with Nium. What about you?
Yeah. So I think Nium's was playing particularly good at the end of last year. Definitely, I think at the end of last year, you can make an argument he was a top 20 player in Challengers last year. I thought him getting a spot on this Huntsman Academy team was really big for his development. Obviously, a lot of exposure. And I thought he's taken real advantage of it and shown a lot of like leadership. And obviously on top of like, just a general gameplay you see from him on Huntsman. I think it's been a really good start to the year for him. I think it's a good move for Thieves and the type of AR they need if they're going to hedge on Ken. But what I said last night on Tommy's stream that I think still kind of stands is, yeah, I think, maybe he comes in for Ken down the line, which I agree with you, shouldn't be till after Major 1 and increases their kill floor. But it doesn't fix what I think is the core issue on whether or not this team wins champs, which is how does Scrap, Hydra, and Abizi play off each other? To your point, that fourth should never be their win condition. It should be the teamwork of those other three is so fucking nasty that, yeah, occasionally Nium gets a couple of bailout plays or makes some big plays. Those other threes are so overwhelming that you're just frying everybody. When you go and play Optic, and maybe it's gritty, but like, those three are just got better chem. So
that fourth should be the difference in whether they're reigning back-to-back championships or not. It shouldn't be the win condition. In league matches. So yeah, I mean, looking at it, like I think it's a smart move by Thieves as long as they see out this first major and kind of assess. But got to look at the roster you got first. I mean, this roster is loaded. Like let's see a Hydra and a BZ develop a little bit, and then like in their chemistry before we just kick the can on Kenny. I mean, I think that'd be kind of crazy. And even if they do go to this first major and get like a top 4 placing, it's like an underwhelming Sunday match. Like I still don't even know if you make that move then. I mean, Nium would have to be pretty undeniable.
I will say, I think every year has like kind of a focal point of when a change is best based on the schedule. Because Major 2 is a major where you play every team, and that's kind of like almost the bulk of your regular season matches.
Yeah.
I think your Major 2 team should be realistically the mindset that you're going in with the rest of the year.
Yeah.
And I think teams making changes now isn't like if a team's really not seeing the light at the end of the tunnel with their current roster, then the change now obviously makes sense. But I 100% agree in terms of like seeing Major 1 now. Like again, they definitely have a winning combination of players there. I think it's just a matter of making it work and
Ray,
seeing how they can. Yeah.
So let me show you this. So obviously you have the stream up, right? So me and Ben were talking about it's a pretty tough situation if you're Thieves, right? Because obviously you got a bad taste in your mouth after how you started your last match. You come back and you have
they're 2-1. We should clarify.
Yeah, we know
obviously.
We know they're 2-1, but I mean that loss was bad. They got cooked, right? And you come back and your first match is Koi, and it's your only match this weekend. Right. And then you come back the next weekend and your only match is Optic. So they have to be really sound in like their approach here of like, all right, whatever decision you make, kind of got to commit to. Cause like you don't want to make this roster change. Let's say after this Optic match, like say you're losing, you get cooked. Matches.
If anything, I see this as a good thing for them. I mean, the one match a weekend kind of blows, not going to lie. But who they're playing against to me isn't necessarily a problem. If anything, it's going to put more to light Like it gives you really an understanding of where you stand. That's obviously Thieves is a team that expects to win. You want to play against a team that are also expected to win to know where you stand. If they were to play all the bottom teams of the league, then you're not really getting a good sense of where you're at.
I agree, Ray. The issue that Ann and I wanted to highlight is that there is a world where they can lose both these games. I think they're going to go 1-1 for what it's worth. But let's say they lose both these, which is the only two matches they have in the next 2 weeks.
You got a hard decision.
They're now 2-3, and 3-4 might get you. You know how this goes, Ray. 3-4 might get you in with tiebreakers, but Boston's not an easy out of a team, and we don't know what New Carolina will look like. These we already knew had a tough schedule to split based on playing General Mates Toronto, Optic, FaZe all off the rip, but they haven't gotten through the woods on this one, and there's still a world where they can start in losers in major one.
I still think, again, we're looking at it from a Matt's perspective here. I still think the scrim and their daily practice is probably saying a lot more than we know, obviously. But you have to take into account that these guys are obviously like every team in the league knows where they stand. Like it's just the basis of how you're doing on a daily basis. The coaches and the staff, they got Sender and Shane. They're obviously really smart, good ex-players who know what they're talking about. And as a team collectively, they're a top organization. Like they're going to know where they stand. If it changes, if they were to want to make a change, it's because they really need to make a change and things aren't looking good at all in the scrims.
Yeah.
But if they lose these two matches and things are still looking up and they're still improving and they're still seeing what they want to see, then the results of these two matches isn't going to impact their roster, at least until Major 1.
I just pull this up to tell LA Thieves fans, especially, like, this is a very, like, tentative time in this roster, and I think these matches are very important. That's kind of the way I look at it. Like, I think these two matches, especially these 2 weekends, are very important. The vibes are at an all-time low in the Thieves camp. Put it that way. At least from what it seems to me, outside looking at it. We'll see if they bounce back versus the Square match. But let's keep it moving. Let's talk about this Challengers Elite a little bit. So people are saying that this was electric. I actually didn't catch too much of it. I saw some clips. Ben, you were a watch party in this? Especially the Steins
I was
matches,
watching it,
right?
Ray. I know you're watching it as well. Like, we knew going into the qualifier that obviously NA especially is pretty deep, and there was a chance of some upsets. And we did see a couple. Teams. If you want to scroll all the way up to the list and go show the 12 to qualify, right, your screen's a little bit cut off so people can't see.
Yeah, it's just off the left. 12. I got it.
But I think, like, to me, like, there are obviously ones that we thought would qualify: Huntsman over Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Next Red Black, both Falcons Academy teams. Bush, obviously. But like people like Timmy Phantom's team. You know, him, Protopeel, Vikram, the mentions in Vayu. Like, there were a couple of teams in here that, like, I don't know how you feel, Ray, that were definitely a surprise as far as a qualification.
It's what I've from being involved in it to a certain extent. I think we're kind of back to the ages of me and Ned competing where the host spread matters. There were so many like game stoppages. I'm not saying like certain teams don't get the breaks or get the breaks, and obviously some teams. I think every team that got in obviously deserves to be in, but I think there's a lot more to it than sees the eye on some of these things. Like the bracket setup too. Like it's ruthless. Like double elimination, bro.
Yeah, bro.
Like I mean, we could go back to like the stone. Like remember was it Black Ops 2 when because you guys qualified through the online like league play, yeah?
The pro points, yeah, or not the pro points. You talking about for champs, the rank play?
Yeah, I'm talking for champs.
Yeah, we qualified through playing rank play, and then we qualified at top 8 at the event anyway. But yeah,
you did. So,
yeah, we did.
But did you have a pro seed at the event, or did you have to go through the?
No, we had to go through open bracket, and one of the first match was on split screen, bro.
That's what I'm saying, bro. We played Complexity on split screen.
Yeah,
against Complexity, round 2, winners bracket.
Bro, split screen on split screen. I'm like trying to line up my pre-nade on a split screen. I'm like, hello. But yeah, it's ruthless.
Like I'm bringing that up for the sense of like, because the online qualifier to make the pro bracket was it like it was the same kind of sense. There's a double elimination bracket where again like anything happened, bro. It's a best of 5.
Yeah.
It's host advantages, seeding, maps. Like
Triple
you don't
West
really know.
Coast.
Like, bro, it's ruthless, bro. It's ruthless. So it's just a sense of like we'll get a better idea of who belongs and who doesn't in the elite, I would say, because there's obviously a bigger sample size with teams playing multiple matches against each other. But it's these qualifiers, bro. It's I mean, for what it's worth, it was entertaining as hell. I'm sure Ben can agree to this. Just being on the outside, like there's so much crazy shit.
So Stallions Black beat Stallions, right? And then Next Threat lost to Next Threat Black as well. So a lot of these teams, I can't believe it just worked out like that, where they ended up playing each other. That is absolutely crazy to me, man. Some teams that really. Falcons only lost one
Official
map.
thought.
Falcons only lost one map. I'm just recapping some of these teams that kind of we expect to do well, which they did.
Yeah. I mean, listen, we knew going in. We knew going in. There's elite qualifier and the way the first three cups that like low key this year, there's probably 7 or 8 like teams on paper that you're like, if this team went to land, they have a good chance to win.
yeah.
And then there's another 4 that have all players that have placed actually like and made it to Sundays at Challengers Land. So like at least in NA, it's like pretty deep. And you knew shit would get weird as it always does in the qualifier. And I agree with Ray, the way that this one played in particular, I think like split was important with some of these teams. There's a lot of host fucking going on. To the extent that you can host fuck now. And there were some decisions made by admins that were interesting. But
as they always have been, though.
There's always an element of that. There's always an element of that.
I mean, there's a lot.
I think what's interesting to me though about this elite year, because if you actually go to the elite page, bro, the way the groups got drawn, like again, dude, there are some groups. One of the groups is like insanely stacked.
You want me to go to the
like,
season page? Where is it?
You go to the season page.
Got it.
It should show the actual A and B groups.
Yeah, I
think it's Group B that's fucking like scroll down. I think Group B is crazy.
Yeah, it's both the Falcons teams. You got Ball, Huntsman, Stallions Black, and you got a lot of ex pros in Group B.
Geo and Awaken them every game in Group B is a banger, bro. And for people that don't know the format of this thing, in each group it's round robin. So you're gonna play 5 games. The top 4 from each group advance to the bracket. It's an 8-team double M, and you're guaranteed to play in Elite Stage 2 once you make it to bracket. The bottom 2 teams are relegated. And after Major 1, you're going to have to replay a qualifier for those 4. There's going to be 4 spots available in the open/close qualifier to then qualify for Elite Stage 2. So it's going to be a movie on Wednesdays and Thursdays, boys.
It's going to be electric, bro.
That's actually pretty cool.
It is cool. Yeah, it's like back against the wall and you got to perform, right?
Like obviously I always followed the players that were kind of sticking out from the rest, being in the position I was before, but I never really like paid attention to it to where I'm paying attention now, just because I was alone doing everything in the previous years. It's actually just super interesting to see the battle. I mean, it's honestly kind of like what we used to experience, like in a sense. Like,
yeah, it's like all or nothing. We got to perform.
You have to perform nonstop to just because you need. This is the thing for me. Like, if you're a player trying to make it to the big league, like you need to be on the stage. Like, you will not get eyes on you if you're not performing well. I mean, obviously, Major 1 will be the biggest kind of outlier, but like this setup to Major 1 is doing well in this, because then you start catching eyes. People are watching you play. 100%. Like they're seeing like your stats starts popping out. Your who you are as a person. Now I'm like, if I was, let's say, in a search position here, like I was in previous years, I'm looking at this and I'm trying to pick out who is the next up and coming talent based on who performs well as a team, but also as individuals. And then the next step is going to their personal streams and seeing who they are as people and trying to get a sense of where their culture is and if they'll fit with the team or not.
Like how they deal with pressure, how they deal consistency week to week, especially with the elite shows that. And continue.
If you're any team at the bottom of the league, this is how you should be doing business. If you don't have the money to spend on big players, this is where you're going to find the needles in the haystacks of guys who will give you way more than what you can pay them. That's the baseline. And if you're a team in a position like that and you're not doing that, to me, you're just not really. You're not taking advantage of the situation you could be in. And again, who knows? Like the players, like I'm not saying it's always a win situation. We've seen players in previous years that have been picked up and have made the team worse, but you've also seen players that have been picked up and made the team way better. And that's just the basis. Like you have to take those chances. And if you're not, then you're doing it wrong.
To me, what makes Challengers so awesome is just it's what made Call of Duty competitive awesome back in the day when like we were coming up. You know what I mean? Like it's all or nothing, 100%. Right? Like, dude, we would be signed to like like Evil Genius is a really good organization. You could just not make the league. And then it's like, okay, I let my organization down. I'm screwed. I'm not in the league. Like, it's not like, it's just that element being there just creates this environment where it's like diamonds are formed, bro. And that's what Ray's saying is like, you come down here, you can find the next guy up that's going to change your organization. It's a different type of pressure than, I'm not saying it's like harder, but it's just a different type of pressure than what some of the CDL teams and players face. And that's why we're seeing so many players come up year to year, especially recently, that are just unbelievable because they're, playing for the livelihood down here. But yeah, the elite's been awesome. But
That was a pressures. Was it the pressure diamond? There's a saying. The pressure makes diamonds.
yeah,
Is that
pressure
what
makes
it is?
diamonds. Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is the way. As much as like the format is cutthroat for these guys, it definitely like helps build character in a sense of you have to fight for every inch.
Yeah.
To be able to withstand a chance and to get a chance at the big show. Like that's.
I will say, interesting to me this year is if you scroll up, Ant. So the change this year, and I don't know if it's a good change, is Europe and Middle East are now one region. So if you scroll up and look at the EMEA, season,
Where do I
it's scrolled like where it says show next to challengers, the little blue bar at the top of the screen.
Yep.
Yeah, and you go to EM and you click stage 1. You're going to scroll down. You're going to see, obviously, there's a lot of known names when you look at this. Cobra and Lynch,
There's not even a list.
Mythic.
Not even a list here.
No, hit show teams. Oh, you're looking at playoffs. You got to go to season.
Oh, season. Yep, got it.
And then click show. You're going to see a lot of names in the EU that you know, especially European players, French players, English players. You're going to see there's a lot of Saudi players on here that
there is.
Are not known. There's a real opportunity, especially in Europe, because they've churned a lot of talent, honestly, that's in the CDL now. There's a lot of new names in here, both from the European region, but also from the MENA region as well, from Saudi in particular.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna be tapped in all year with the elites and with challengers. It's just been electric. Well,
I would like to bring something up here, and this is I mean, it's kind of on topic, but a little off topic. I was in a position last year, and again, this is more insight to the situation after Major 1, where the team, as a team, the team want to make a decision to change players for Charlie, for Hixie.
Yeah.
The names that I brought up to the table to the guys was Afro and Neptune were basically the top 2.
Yeah.
Afro wasn't even really like, I don't want to say like he wasn't into, like the players weren't into him as much as Travis was, mostly because of the scene that he was coming from. Like, which is an interesting thing to think about in a sense, because is the European scene that far behind?
Well, it had caught up, and then I don't know. I mean,
like, because I mean, obviously the players have insight into this, right? Like because they don't get to play against these guys. I mean, Abuza got. I mean, I don't know. Abuza don't think got to play against Afro much, because Afro was in the league while Abuza was coming up.
No, he had a crossover year where I think they were both the EU challengers, as far as I'm aware. I think the problem rate is twofold. One is, I think Europe is a tapped region where in the last 4 or 5 years, a lot of guys who moved over to CDL that are top in that region. Like they made the transition to here and they played.
You're saying like we found a talent over there?
Yeah. There are a lot of guys also retired in Europe too. It worked also the other way. So like it's been cleared out. The second thing is, due to how visas work, it's very tough for, say, a guy like Marcus Afro to make a mid-season move, because
that's would have been easy.
It just takes 3 months, 2 months to get a visa in.
For a team in Canada, it's easy because it's not that long. It's literally like 2 weeks.
I never even thought about that.
Yeah, but the problem is, Ray, you risk the potential that when you travel to NA for an event, you run into the one border agent who's having a bad day, and they start asking questions about whether you're work eligible in the U.S. to come play for an event. And that's how.
Talk about the Ben situation, I'm assuming.
Yeah, but you laugh, but it fucking happens.
Something really wrong was said or done in that situation, bro. Like
that was just
like, realistically speaking, that can happen for anyone. That can happen for anyone, realistically speaking.
I know, but that's the risk of that, though, because you get one guy having a bad day.
I get you.
They ask questions, and you sent the secondary screening, and then the supervisor goes like,
And can you have my cam while I try and figure this out? This just pissed me off.
Yeah, I got you. It's probably just your monitor light. But I mean,
also,
Ben, that's an interesting thought, what you said, that maybe the region being tapped a little bit. I mean, we have had a lot of really good players come up. I mean, Hydra, Abuza, then you look, even further back, like inside the Kleenex, like some tier, like S-tier players come up, and the region just kind of tapped a little bit. That could be it.
Yeah, so here's my suggestions for this. One is, and it's both a good and bad thing with MENA. I'm going to give a good angle and a bad angle. The bad angle is that now MENA, this combined region, is insane ping. If you watch some of these games, and I've watched some of you challengers, people are playing like 100 ping matches between Saudi and England. It's nuts. It's unsustainable. But I will say, if you were to say the Saudi Esports Foundation or Team Falcons or someone else in region, there's an opportunity to maybe figure out a way to do some lands within that region between, players in the Middle East and players in Europe, that people can see this competition play out not in an online way. So just some food for thought on there. And there's always the angle, of course, and I think why some of these players do get some criticism is that these European teams come over, they play in NA lands, and they get like top 24, and then they're just kind of an afterthought because their team didn't make it deep on the weekend.
Yeah.
Right.
Not always, because Cobra and Linz and Wabuzu and them, they won Toronto Open like a couple of years ago, if I remember right.
Well, the EU scene was like booming prior to CDL because they had their own like land league and everything. Like where they would go and play on land, whether it was BO3 or after that, playing against each other in on land and for higher stakes. So it was just a bit different. And like because the community was just booming more.
Eric Boom moved to the States, right?
Yeah.
Because he's NA right now, which
correct.
I'm not saying this is a necessity, but I definitely, if I'm a European player, definitely you would think that those guys have more chances of getting, if they have what it takes, definitely have a better chance to come to light by being in NA than just dominating the European scene, if we're going by that sense. So I mean, like Afro's back in the league this year, which is, you could argue differently, but I don't know.
Yeah,
this is why CCL is important, because look at a Lucas path, right? He was probably giving good advice on this aspect. You can find an arrangement because of CCL schedule where you can come to NA, get a student visa, get a ride to a college, you get housing, and there's some associated costs, maybe it gets covered, whatever. CCL schedule is not super demanding because it's a spring-based end of winter schedule due to how universities work. But you can still compete in challengers off the rip.
Plan? No, it's a different.
Different, but like you get that, and so you get your coverage to NA figured out, and you can come in a region. And to your point, there's way more exposure playing in NA because of just the benefits of that scene. So
you think he did that for that reason?
He's in chat.
Eric's in chat. Says I'm able to do what I'm doing right now because of dominance of last year.
Yeah.
If not, it's a very long day.
Yeah, I mean,
how does that make any sense?
I mean, it's just there's a lot more barriers for you. It's tough, but yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody would disagree with, if they're over here in the U.S., it's going to be an easier route to becoming or joining a pro team. But that's just difficult to do and set up, and it requires a lot of risk taken on by the player and a lot of faith in himself.
Yeah,
right.
But again, CCL opportunity for entities like Fisher College to again, build an interesting story at their university where they take the forefront of recruiting, U18 or 18 eligible players to come and do a university year or two and get over and used to being an NA before they make the jump. All
right, so let's move on to the next thing. We're gonna do some match preview a little bit. We got Ray on the show, talk about some of the matches. We kind of picked a few that are gonna be pretty important. So let me pull this up here. Friday we only got 2 games. And the second one, Heretics versus Ravens, has become way more interesting. And the reason being, obviously, Ravens have made a roster change, or more than likely. It's obviously Slasher.
We had a Ronnie, since we've been live, Ronnie tweeted out exceed the Ravens. So on top of the rotation tweet from last night, we now have a second source on that.
So assuming exceed is now on the Ravens, you look down at this, Miami are 1-2. Despite their matches being close, 7-8 map count, they're still 1-2. This match becomes extremely important for Miami. So going into this one, Ray, let's talk to you first, Ray. What are your thoughts been on Miami so far? What you saw initially, obviously coming off the amazing season last year, bringing in Trakes. First map was not great, but then he seemingly bounced back a bit. Give me your thoughts on this Miami team and kind of your forecast for this game.
Didn't Miami had a decent first event last year, and then I'm trying to remember from last season. When did they bring Super in? Was that third event?
During Major 2 split, because they were terrible at S&D. It started falling off after the Madrid event.
Was it during the split or was it after? I don't remember. Chad, you guys remember?
I'm trying to remember if they made the change during or after the split, actually.
It might have been after the second split.
I want to see.
They lost a lot of S&Ds and we were raging.
I can pull it up while you discuss this. But
I think Miami has one of the better AR duos in the league.
Yeah.
I think the sub aspect is where they struggle. And if we talk about pace and speed, that's where most of your pace and speed is going to come from. If your front line's not doing too well, then it's hard to follow it up. I think that's a team, again, that I think as the year goes on will get better. I mean, they were one of the better. In my opinion, they were top 4 you can even argue maybe top 3 in some instances towards the end of the season last year. I mean, they showed up at champs. They played pretty well.
Yeah, Major One, they got third.
And they arguably should have beaten Optic at EWC.
Yeah.
After that tremendous failure on the control game on the third game against Optic. But regardless, I think that team has high potential. I don't know if Trakes is and the sub situation is where it needs to be yet for them to find success. I think who knows where Carolina is with Exceed. I would suspect Miami would win this one just based on what's happened so far. It's not like Carolina has a lot of time either, but they got like a week to prep for this match, like 4 days scrims.
Well, they were swimming
they were I'll say this. They have last week, and I don't know if it was a week prior to, they were trialing both Exceed and Nium. So they have had some experience playing with those players, but
I mean, I think that's a difference. You have a different state of mind when you're trying someone to where you're actually trying to figure stuff out, right? So I would suspect Miami to take this one just based on how Miami have played, because it's not like, again, Miami have had close games against some good teams. It's not like they've been getting slaughtered. Their losses aren't bad losses. I mean, and I just again think that ARDO is just super, super good.
Yeah, and there's so much room for like improvement for this Miami team, because like you look at them, I mean, they won 4 out of the last 5 hard points, right? And then it's really been the search that has been a problem for them. 1 in 4 last 5 searches, and search was their bread and butter last year. And these searches haven't necessarily been super close, but they've had a lot of time to during this break to kind of get their search back on point. And that was kind of my takeaway, was like, yo, this team's doing this, which fresh off a roster change. I mean, you obviously lost a super impressive player in Real, and your search isn't even close to where it's going to be. So I think Miami are still in a good spot, but this match is just so important because they're 1 and 2.
I mean, for both teams. Yeah, I mean, I think this is where the difficulty, and this I'm more so bringing in thought process as to how I was thinking last year. Like, if you're at the start of the season, if you're looking at it from a state of a team that's going to be battling for a playoff spot, not saying Miami's necessarily in that conversation, they should not be in that conversation, but with the new, like you said, like they don't have Real anymore, they got a new player that hasn't had experience in the league yet.
Yeah.
You have to look at these matches like, I don't want to say must wins, but you're gonna have to win most of those matches against teams that should be out of the picture to really kind of stand where you want to stand at the end of the season.
Correct.
And you don't want to be stressing going to Major 3, Major 4, bro. Like, you need the start of the season, especially now. Like, I mean, again, we're not Major 2 yet, but Major 2 is going to be the bulk of where your end of season standing is, because of the fact you're playing 11 regular season matches.
Ray, you know what happens is because you get to Major 3, Major 4, where we're going to have those minor tournaments, and I'm not sure how those are seeded. I'm not sure if it's previous events or total, but like, if you're having a shit season, you're playing a good team round 1, and you might get bopped out that tournament early, 0 points.
Right.
Like, early start gets you a better seed, more opportunities.
Listen, the 100%. Forecast, if you just look at from their initial games, the data forecast that this Miami team is going to be really good. I mean, even like their hard point, like if you eliminate that first one where Trake's like welcome to the league moment versus Toronto, they got cooked 250-85. They've been unbelievable at HP. So it really just comes down to their search.
But we okay. Can I put an asterisk on this previous stat thing? There are 2 big changes that have happened between December and now. Change 1 is Black Card is in. So, for example, that G2 Riyadh match, that's the first match on Friday, I can almost guarantee that Black Card is in that fucking series. I'd be mind blown if it's not, considering the combo of the teams. Can I finish my thought?
Yeah, go ahead.
Finish my thought real quick. So that's 1. Second is that there has now been 3 weeks since we lost all these teams play. As you guys know, the game progression is very quick off the rip. And like teams ever go to hardpoint, they haven't played in a while. If there's people master do things, the pecking order of that can change very rapidly now in January. That's the only caution I would have on just extrapolating stats from December.
Yeah, but my thing is like kind of just thinking about the way Miami even play COD in general. It's kind of goes back to what Ray was talking about earlier. They're one of the teams that is super fast paced, comfortable, will flip you left and right and just control the situation no matter what. That's what they did so well last year. Like,
I mean, I think I would agree, but I don't know if is Trakes from a pace standpoint similar to what Real was doing.
Well, that's the question, I guess. I would say from the first couple matches, it looked like he was getting more comfortable, especially in their match versus Optic. They had some heroic efforts in the Optic match. You go back and you watch that requires some pretty high level teamwork. So I think that's it should get better. I mean,
You would think, yeah.
the Blackheart question is a good one because obviously they have a stronger AR duo, and the two maps that they've had the most success on have been Den and Exposure, right? So I do think I think they've been insta vetoing Colossus. I know they haven't played it yet. I think I assume they've been insta vetoing. I don't have that up here, but Blackheart could throw a little bit of a wrench in that because of the AR duo, but I guess we'll just have to wait and find out. If they're good at that map, then I think this team projects very well going forward. But this match is huge.
If you're curious, they have vetoed Colossus in all 3 of the series they have played.
So there we go. Yeah. So they're worried about the sub pressure map. So Blackheart could impact this team a lot.
Yeah, you're gonna
we'll see. But again, they may have had time to play Blackheart, get used to P1, how to break P1, for example, if you don't get off the rip, like how to flip on P2. Like,
but Blackheart is a little
3 weeks
more,
is a lot of time.
Blackheart's a little more controllable than Colossus, I feel like. Well, I mean, P2, P4, Colossus.
Colossus is controllable if you can block the back and front at the same time. It's
Blackheart's punishing, bro.
Like say P2.
It is.
Yeah, if you don't get clean wipes and you can block the right shit and make it actually paste. If it's just P2, for example, right? You break the hill and you try to ape the guy in the back and nobody's blocking statue, they're instantly back in the fucking mix. They're not spawning that deep. Like, you got to have good team coordination to flow that map correctly.
I just think you have less options on Blackheart, bro. Because like Blackheart is just, it feels tough.
Yeah.
I would agree with that. I think Blackheart's much simpler. It's really not that complex.
Yeah.
Like you'll get through very similar situations more often than you would on Colossus, I think.
Yeah, I agree with that. Somebody might just hit the stairs on Colossus and just get a 2-piece. It's like you're not really hitting front on Blackheart and getting a 2-piece. That's the biggest difference.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move on to the next match we want to highlight. Let me switch screens.
Just one more thing there is, do we know how long of a break Miami took? Because typically the foreign guys go back to their homes for holidays. No, again, I'm more like this is very deep.
Sure,
but
I used to have access to the scrim doc. I do not anymore. So
if Miami used this time right and they got their search on point, that'd be huge for them. I mean, they had a decent amount of things to work on, but they were building off a pretty good foundation. I don't know though. I don't know. A lot of these teams go home right for the holidays, so if anybody can clear that up, great.
Danny said they usually leave the latest, so Danny's saying like they leave as late as they can before Christmas. But Dan, the point is like, when do they come back? They start scrimming on Saturday. So they start scrimming on Saturday. We're talking about the 3rd. A lot of
how much they played during the holidays period. I don't care where they played, as long as they played some.
So Danny's in here, which leads us to the next one. So I saw a lot of people complaining about this 2-match Friday, whatever. Both these matches are absolute bangers. Just for implications. Like, I don't think you guys realize. We just talked about this one. Now, this one is also a huge match, bro, because G2, Falcons have been on a heater the last couple games. G2 are 1-2. Feels like a lot of people jumped off the G2 train. They had an amazing preseason. Ray, what are your thoughts on this roster, their preseason, kind of where they're at now, and we'll get into this match, G2 versus.
Let's start with Ben here. I'm actually curious to hear what Ben has to say about this one.
Okay, let's get it, Ben.
About G2?
Yeah.
So I'm really interested in this matchup because, like, I think these teams have very overlapping skill sets. RE, like, I think they're like SMGs are the primary strength of the team, although obviously MC is a big factor on Falcons. But, like, I think, like, they're going to want to play maps where their SMGs can get lost and make plays and generate that energy. So this is, again, I think Blackheart's in this series. Potentially no Colossus, but both teams love playing Den. Like, that's purely the hard point. I think, though, to Ant's point, though, like, both teams had a really interesting December. Like, Falcons had a slow start, and they really picked it up in that last week and looked a lot better. I've talked to MC a lot recently, and he feels like they made good progression in their practice over the last couple of weeks, so we'll see what happens on there. G2 had a great start and kind of slowed down a little bit, and I think the question for G2 is still the same that I've always had prior to the season is, like, how icy is this team? When they get to game 5, is Kyle Kremp making the same plays he's making map 1? Justice Hestriel, same thing. Like, this is a big one because G2 need this win. Falcons need this win because they're both looking likely on that cut line to make winners bracket in that 7th or 8th spot at the moment.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. What you said at the top of that, I agree 100%. I think both these teams kind of profile very similar in, like, what they're going to want to play and do. Like,
it's just not a match I would bet on.
Yeah, at all.
I would absolutely bet this. If you see a Blackheart, I'm taking Morris, bro.
I'm just saying from like I'm not
like money line,
we're talking about who's winning, who's losing.
Yeah. This feels like a game 5 heater, but off the rip. But obviously, one of these teams can come out and have a stinky. But they're two like the more interesting. Like, where do these teams are somewhere around the 6 to 8 spot? You would think in power rankings. Are they actually in that spot? Are they better than that? Worse than that? I think we're gonna find out about these teams next 2 weeks on that.
Both just like dark horse, and like I know there were like rumors of like the problem with the Minnesota team from last year was like effort and like kind of locking in, working really hard. But we know like they have a good roster, they have a good coach, and they have talent, right? So it's like this team, and in the preseason they look so good. This team could have made some big strides. And Dan, if you're in chat, how much time did you guys take off for this holiday break coming in? If you're still here, I'd be curious.
Good question.
Because I feel like this team is one of the teams where if they apply themselves and grind it, like they could catch up again. I mean, I love the sub.
Here, I'll say my point while we wait for if he's going to respond or not. I think Falcons is going to be the hardest team to predict who like what Falcons shows up on a day until we've seen like more consistency about how they try and go play in the game. Like they have so much talent. They have the talent to like win events. Like honestly, like they can. Like if Exnid keeps kind of on thriving up and he keeps playing, like he was obviously the one guy that everyone's looking at. If he seems to have the ceiling to play well. And if this team can get together and do things right, they have the players they need to that you kind of need to have a chance to win tournaments. Now, can they go about doing things in the way where everyone's conducive to doing what it takes to win? It's just hard to say so far from what I've seen. Again, like this is from a complete outside perspective, not seeing what the day-to-day looks like. Just from the match reactions, like we're all going about. Like we've seen very different versions of the team so far. Their last few games have looked really good. They're going to be against a team that has very similar map pool to them, so I think we're going to see comfort picks out of both teams. It's from a skill standpoint, you'd have to argue maybe Falcons has the edge, but again, like you said, G2 had a heater to start the year. Kremp has isn't Kremp leading in the Slayer ratings? Like
he's losses.
Like Kremp losses. But you can argue like Falcons look really good on Colossus the last few times they played as well. So it's like like I don't know, bro.
Make fights, bro. Styles make fights, and this one could be a real banger. Rated. I don't know what you're saying. I've talked to MC a lot in the last few weeks. And one thing that MC and I think also is our two teammates are trying to do is like when you have a player like Exnid, you don't want to clip his wings. You don't want to spend every week, every day saying, don't make this play. This is a stupid decision. You need to figure out how he can play his aggressive style within the boundaries of like really good team play and team decision and play do that quick. And that's something that they're like constantly aware of. They know he's going to make mistakes. I'm sure at some point he'll cost a series with an overchow. We almost saw it at times in December, but like they don't want him to feel down on himself for making those plays. They want to figure out how him to make those plays in a productive manner so that again they can match the pace of an LAG or an Optic if it comes to it.
Well,
is a team willing to play to that?
Well, that's the thing
for me.
That was the question I didn't ask him because I don't think he would answer that question. You know what I'm saying?
Like, right. Yeah, that's fair. To me, that's always been the most difficult thing is when you have players like on a team. If the rest of the players on a team don't necessarily see the best way to conducive winning, like to play conducive to winning, then that's when you run into issues and you kind of have to rein them in a little bit, right? You have to find a way to make everyone happy to play the game in a way that's going to give the team the best chance to win.
Yeah, I mean,
and that's
all that being said, though, Ray, like in general, like obviously you want to try to get Exnid to play the right way, and like Ben said, you don't want to fully clip his wings. The plays and like getting lost and making plays going on the streaks, like what we've seen from these last two matches out of Exnid, it's just naturally going to be easier when you have better teammates around you. Like it's just naturally he's going to look better, and that's kind of what we've seen. And especially with the Colossus, when they get the 3 subs out, bro, this team looks ridiculous. And now we got Blackheart in, so I actually like this Falcons team a lot. And I think Kismet, picking him up, the most underrated roster change of this offseason, Kismet's looked great with this team. He just simply has. It's unlocked.
Kis has always been good, bro.
Always been good.
Kis has always been good, bro.
Yeah, he's looked great.
And he's a good soul to have on the team too. Like he'll never, from what I've seen, from what I've heard and spoken, just from my interactions with him, he seems to always have the right intentions in mind.
Yeah.
Which is something that's important to have on a team. What you said is actually a really good point with Blackheart coming in. Like if they're trying to play those like sub heavy maps just to get everyone more comfortable and get the speed that you need to, bro, that means they're basically gonna get pick Colossus or Blackheart every series
Every
if that's the
series.
route.
Yeah.
If that's the route they're going for, so now they automatically have like kind of like a good pick for themselves. And it's going to be hard to veto against because you have all that kind of skill and talent on that team too. So
yeah, especially if you're a team like G2, right, where it's like, okay, maybe we want to kind of mirror that. Well, kind of put ourselves in a tough spot here. So yeah, I mean, I like this Falcons team. Continued development of XNet would be something to watch out for. I think another takeaway, and we talked about this on the last show, this like Cellium playing inspired ball still. Like there was definitely going to be questions whether Cellium was going to, still be the Cellium of old coming into this team, whether it was like, some people saying, oh, he went there for the cash, this and that. Big turnaround. Cellium was balling last 2 series, bro. That looked like old MC. So clearly he's still locked. And Ben, you said you talked to him a lot. They're putting in a lot of work over there, right?
Yeah, they're putting a lot of work, and I think MC's one thing I stressed to MC over the offseason, and he reiterated to me recently, is like he understands older player needs to be more vocal about how he thinks the team should play and productively work towards being single-minded. Okay, maybe the way I want to play isn't how we should play, but we all need to commit to playing the same way so that we are not doing 17 different things on the map. He's aware of his role in that system, and I think it benefits them. For me, with this matchup, I think it's going to come down to is not the respawns, is S&D, which I think we saw G2 play a variety of maps really in December. We really only saw Falcons play Scar and Den, and they won all the Scars they played and lost all the Dens they played. So we'll see if they made any progress in the S&D on that front, because it was like 9 day about the maps. They played great on the Scars, and they played absolutely terrible on the Dens. So.
Yeah.
Has there been any talk about the sniper GA shit, the 2-round use thing changing or not?
Not that I know of. I know
they were talking about making it 3 rounds. I think they were talking about that.
Why are we limiting it, bro? Like,
I agree. But,
have snipers really been dominant at all? Like, are we saying you cannot win a round if you don't have a sniper?
Well,
like,
after the data came
teams...
out, let me find it, Ray. I'll find this for
Find
you.
the data, bro.
I was gonna this week. Ray, I was gonna do it. I was gonna do a deep dive and because I have EasyMax giving me a lot of like source data. I was gonna go through and do analysis on like rounds where snipers have won.
Well, EasyMax posted
snipers have won.
He posted it already of like the impact of the sniper. It was maybe a week or 2 weeks ago. I think it was EasyMac, and it just wasn't anything crazy. So like, I think
that confirms what we thought, which is that they're all just tripping. Like,
I'd be saying, I'd be honestly just haven't looked at it. I'd be surprised if the sniper has won more rounds. Like a team using a sniper has won more rounds than not. Like I feel like most rounds I've seen a team play down the stretch where a team gets to leave with the sniper early because the other team sniped it as well. Like let's say Falcons win their sniper battle against G2 in early rounds. Like I think I'm just using these 2 teams as an example. Don't worry about the teams themselves. But like I think I've seen more teams come back in maps because the other team is still using sniper from not using a sniper in that round than vice versa, where the sniper keeps dominating.
I agree, and that's always been my argument against this stupid fucking 2 life thing. But as you know, these pros are fucking children. The minute they get 2-piece sniped off the rip 1 day after the games come out, they lose composure and they think it's OP. And they don't wait to try it out for 6 weeks before they actually think that's busted. But I'm tired of arguing with a brick wall about this shit.
Look,
look,
at the very least, it should be allowed in round 11 for sure.
Just fuck the restrictions, bro.
It shouldn't be restricted at all, bro.
I mean, I 100% agree, because it's not only that, it comes even like to what the challengers players are playing. Like sometimes it could be hard to track that on the lower tier, obviously. And then even in ranked, where it's like, okay, so now are people playing the same thing? Like there's so many challenges with like a GA like this. They're just really annoying. And also like, on broadcast, not being able to talk about sniper because of the GA is like one of the dumbest things ever. It's these type of things from the pros, they need to take into account. And especially if the data supports that the sniper's not like swaying whether you win or lose.
Yeah.
In a very outside perspective, from a viewership standpoint, it is kind of funny in a way to see teams trying to save the off is the call. It's kind of funny late round.
It's so dumb.
But it does take away from the craziness of watching a guy trying to fight his way through a 1v3 early in the game with a sniper.
Lot of nuance to it. That's like, I don't know. And then like smokes are allowed 1 per every round, right? So it's like, all right, we just allow the sniper. And we're seeing some ridiculous plays with smokes.
We're gonna all agree this conversation is pointless without getting a player on and them attempting to explain why they're all
there's players in here.
Children, but not in this call. Maybe someone will hop and call in.
Yeah,
That'd be
and
show this home.
let's move on.
some
To
interesting news while I've been live, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Call of Duty announced that Season 1 Reloaded is dropping on Thursday.
Oh, does that mean
And if
ranks
you
out?
look in the no, Rank's not out for Season 1 Reloaded. That's Season 2.
Oh,
But we are getting Meltdown and Fringe into the game. And if you click on the link that I just put into on the guides page, you can actually see how hardpoint bomb sites, etc., are all laid out on both those maps. So maybe.
So I'll pull this up and let me say
Yeah.
this. So I know a lot of people say like, oh man, the maps here. Ben, drop it in the chat again because I gotta load it up here to pull it up.
Which one do you want first? You want Fringe or do you want Meltdown?
I just pull it up and I'll click. Can I click the map and it shows me? No.
Yeah, just a full guides page here.
Okay, so drop that. So I know a lot of the older maps coming back have been great. I forget we talked. Maybe it was Jay. I was talking about this. Fringe actually would work well with the movement mechanics of this game and like just the way that it plays. Because if you can still high wall over by white wall, and then obviously trains is going to be a lot of jumping off the wall making plays, it would work out well with how it used to play. So I actually think Fringe could be a really good map for Black Ops 7. So I'm excited about this one. And then you can see here.
It looks like it's all the original locations. So they were moved. Was there a fifth hill on this map?
There's a Granny Hill hardpoint. There's no Granny Hill hardpoint anymore.
Yeah, they removed it. So
Ray, do you agree with me what I'm saying about Fringe or no? What are kind of your thoughts on Fringe as a map?
I think the wall bouncing for sure makes it more like similar to what it was played before. I would agree.
Yeah.
If it was boots on the ground, it'd be weird. I don't like it's. I hate talking about these things because it's so subjective. Like if the spawns are anywhere different, the spawns themselves could just break, and we won't know until we play it.
Correct.
Like that's the thing with like every map. Like I mean, why are we not playing Raid? I'm actually curious.
Wait, why are we not playing Raid? Because it plays way different.
Front basketball spawn, yeah.
Yeah, it plays.
So the spawns,
plays different.
like it's just again,
but also
the same
even
talk, right? Like,
even some of the angles and stuff, though, Ray. Like water steps is so much different now because of like wall bouncing and jumping up to top bedroom is just like way different. It's like so fast. So I think
I don't know if it's like different enough not to play it though. Like I still think it's an awesome map, and we're still playing for search, obviously. Like I think if it wasn't for the spawns, I would argue we'd still be playing it.
Raid just played. I don't know. It didn't. I don't know if you've played a lot of Raid hardpoint in this game. It didn't play the same.
I did.
I don't know. It felt.
I didn't mind it when I played it, but that's
way more
me. And again, I'm old age.
Meltdown's also an interesting map. So one thing, by the way, in these guides, it doesn't list the overload points. So that's also a key thing.
I didn't even see it.
We only played. Meltdown was only search.
Meltdown's only search.
It's right in the middle of the screen. Yeah.
I'd be surprised if you see Meltdown respawn.
Meltdown, Overload, Meltdown. Listen, don't hate on it. Overload, Meltdown with the way the mid map works could be interesting. It depends on where the overload points are and how.
I don't know. And the problem we had in respawn on this map was this area, bro.
Yeah, the pillar.
This area.
The pillars are crazy. The pillars is hilarious. But like I'm just saying, with the way the middle map works, Overload could be fun. It could be. It could be terrible, but.
And then the windows.
The stalemate situations of bringing bomb inside that meltdown room with 3 doors.
Oh
bro.
my god. Yeah. What David said, Colossus spawn in the Raid spawn too far, Colossus spawn in the hill. Yeah, I mean, kind of a stark difference in those two. I think Meltdown for search though is, I mean, it's just gonna be good. This area will be kind of crazy post plant because you could just like circle and bounce off the each of the pillars, but
right. That will be kind of cool, actually. I think that's a good thing. That's not a bad thing.
Yeah, it'll just be fun. And then snipers, obviously, element on this map, are really cool.
Which map's going out if this coming in for search?
Well, I want Fringe to come in for hardpoint and Exposure to go out, and I've kind of pleaded my case to this multiple times. I think Exposure is one of the worst maps we've had in 3 years. I do not think it should be a hardpoint map whatsoever. P3 to P4 is some of the worst Call of Duty imaginable. That's my opinion, and I'll stick to that.
I definitely don't disagree. I wouldn't say it's the worst, and I definitely think it's the worst that we have right now. I wouldn't say maybe in the last couple of years. Like that's not too crazy. We've had some bad stuff in the last couple of years.
Exposure is not better than Blackheart and Colossus. You do not know ball, brother. Do not. But
no, I would agree. Okay? So let's say Meltdown was coming. Let's say we were. What? Let's just pick a map off the top of your head for search. Exposure as well. Are we just getting rid of Exposure altogether? Then is Fringe Ball possible?
I mean, you definitely keep in Raid. I mean, we could get rid of Colossus search.
Yeah, that's kind of I agree.
Yeah.
That map's
Get
kind of
rid
weird
of
for
Colossus
search. Okay.
Search and add Meltdown, and then get rid of Exposure Hardpoint. We could keep Exposure for Overload and Search, but bring Fringe in for Hardpoint. Those are 2 map changes.
Okay, so let's just say that. When are you making that change?
After Major 1.
After Major 1.
Okay. That's all I want to hear.
So funny enough, first off, updates on Thursday. So RIP challengers on Thursday, because hopefully they don't break the game with this fucking update if the elite matches. But I assume people are going to play Nates. We'll know pretty instantly in a week and a half if these maps are even viable. And yeah, well, I don't know if rank play is coming out before the Major 2 cycle or whatever, but like
this map's fun
Major
too.
2, from my understanding, from what Spencer Peterson tweeted, like Major 2 would be the earliest. Major 2 cycle would be the earliest we see any map pool changes.
Yeah, and it would be awesome because that split is so unique in that you play everyone.
Right.
Yeah.
Thanks for that, Ben. That's 1, exciting, and 2, guys, get on the game. Let's play. Let's.
I love the mid-season map changes, by the way.
Same.
Like I think, like that keeps things fresh, keeps the product kind of moving in a direction where it's like it's less stale as a viewer.
Yeah.
I just wish there was more. Again, this comes back to the GA shit, but I just wish the players weren't necessarily the ones to pick which ones go in and out. I wish it was. I don't know. That's a whole different conversation. But it'd be
I
cool
don't think
if
they
there
do
was
anymore.
What keeps other?
I don't think that's how it works anymore.
I'm pretty sure they're asked at the very least.
They're asked, but I think as of last year, I think the league is kind of taking the majority control in that process, unless I'm wrong.
Okay.
So to Tenny
Because
Sensei
your point,
in the chat,
they used to Google poll and they would go with whatever the majority goes with. But I think now Activision is kind of just doing what they want.
So COD lacks this element that other esports have, in that there are meta shifts throughout seasons, whether a new agent gets dropped or, for us, it's really just maps, because we don't get like new agents or, new weapons coming in. The pros just kind of been using the same weapons all year long for a while now. Mm-hmm. So like when new maps come in, we need to be super open to adding and removing maps, and whether or not, pros think that it's going to be like, way better than the other one. It's just meta shift, bro. And that is our meta shift. A new map is our meta shift.
But at the same time, we can't talk too much about that, because most other esports are games that will last for years and years and years. We get a new game every year.
But we still have to make do what we got. Shift. And we pick maps.
I'm not saying we don't make changes through a season, but like, again, if you're comparing like League of Legends, for example, League of Legends has been the same game, more or less the same game forever in terms of the base product. They just have made changes to the game to keep it fresh.
Yeah, I just think the league needs to follow the marketing and like the way that, Call of Duty has, Call of Duty the game comes out with new maps. We should be playing at least one of those new maps every time. That's the way that I look at it. New map comes out, we should be adding that.
I think it was more so going to the sense of like, I don't think changing too much of the product is necessarily beneficial, because you still want some element of like consistency to what's going on.
There just has to be meta shifts in some way. We used to have that. It was great. And we've had new maps coming in. Like you think back to MW3 and the new maps coming in and made the game way better. So
way better.
Yeah. So hopefully the pros are open to that and we get some changes early, especially going into Split 2. But let's jump into this next match that we highlighted. Optic versus FaZe. This is an absolute banger. I cannot wait for this match. We'll start with you again, Ben. Give me your overview on where these teams are at and this match coming up.
I think that as constructed right now, this FaZe team's gonna have a hard chance really matching Optic and Respawn. I think S&D they can probably go blow for blow, but I think Hardpoint is tricky. So I think Optic probably take care of this one pretty clean.
Just keep in mind, Texas are coming off of a series they lost both Hardpoints. Just keep that in mind.
I think the ways that FaZe play until they really min-max it, like I just think Optic's a tough style matchup for them. S&D, I think they match up well. I'm just concerned with the Respawn that Optic. This could just be a classic 3-1 where FaZe win the S&D and Optic win.
So, all right, let's paint this picture and let's talk about Optic here a bit, okay? It's been nothing but fantastic about Optic. And yes, they're unbelievable. You watch them, their approach, everything's great. So far, though, they are 2-3 in Hardpoint, and they've only played, Exposure, Den, and Scar. They've been kind of avoiding the Colossus. It looks like they've been, I don't know if people have been vetoing it against them, or they've been vetoing it. It just hasn't been in.
They veto it.
Oh, so they've been vetoing Colossus. Blackheart is coming in.
Den are their main. Yeah.
So there you go. So if they're vetoing that, and then Blackheart's coming in, that feels to me like a slight aversion to the triple sub maps, just so far. And you couple that with their 2 and 3 in hardpoint so far. So it hasn't been perfect. Where they've made up for that is their overload has been absolutely ridiculous, bro. Like they've been sensational in overload, and Search had some big clutches. So I wouldn't just write FaZe off immediately in hardpoint, Ben. Like coming into this.
I am though, because I don't think that FaZe play quick enough to really match the pace of Optic. Like, yeah, I think overload. Both these teams have shown a real ability in that mode. That could be fun. Search could be fun. I just think Optic's advantage is in hardpoint, and unless FaZe is up to a strong start in the series, I think it's just a 3-0-3-1 for me.
It's just pace. I think again, like if we're just talking about hardpoint specifically, pace. I can see this going to 5.
Same.
I'm hoping that FaZe kind of sat back during the holidays and looked at where they were lacking and hopefully try to make some changes to make that better. I think FaZe is always a team, like you look at last year, how they started in the same way. Last year their start was horrible, no? Wasn't
yeah,
they,
and they didn't lose
terrible.
a match for a month and a half when they
Literally.
got back.
Well, after Simpson 1v4.
Like I have the utmost respect for Crowder and the players on that team to kind of come out and like look at things in a bigger light and see where they need to improve. And I would suspect them to only be better from here in the coming weeks.
I agree.
So I think this is going to be a close match. Have they made enough strides to kind of take on Optic? I mean, bro, at the start of season, even through the last offseason, I had a hard time seeing Optic losing an event this year. I think I'm seeing a little bit of light coming out for some competition, but I still think with how these guys are playing right now and at the pace they're playing at with the games that they're playing right now, it seems like they control the ball. Like they have the balls in their hands. Like it's really up to them to take it or give other teams a chance. And,
I mean, look, you look at both these teams. Vegas have had some really tough competition. And really, if we're like painting the picture, like both these teams have been great at search and destroy and decent at overload. The hardpoint's been kind of hit or miss. So
wait, you're saying that the Optic's the best overload team, for sure.
Yeah,
what?
Optic's been unbelievable at overload. They had one really, really good overload performance. But then you talk about like both these teams, they've been dominant at search and destroy as well. So to me, it's just this is gonna be like a map pool thing, because looking at it, like Vegas dominated that Colossus, so they're probably cool with playing that. If they're comfortable on Blackheart, then I don't see why they don't have a chance in the series. Like you're telling me Vegas can't come out, win both search and destroys, take a Blackheart, and take the series? It's definitely possible.
Yeah, they can. I don't think they will though. That's the thing. Like they have a win condition here.
I mean, I just think
this is a bad. Yeah, they need Zach to play well.
If he plays well, then
I think it's this Blackheart thing is going to be a very interesting thing to look at for these first matches for all these teams. Like it's a mix up in the map pool and how they go about like if a team doesn't like playing it, because again, I would argue that it is like Ant said, it's probably the most punishing map, but it's also small. It's a kind of a weird sense of mentality there where it's super row heavy. If you win rows it's just super hard to break. Like especially at the pro level, I feel like it's gonna be almost impossible. So I think some teams will really it's going to be a very bipolar map in the sense that some teams will really want to play it and some teams really won't. But then if you were a team that wasn't into another map before the holidays and now you're really not into that map, then where's your veto go? That exposes you a little more. And where does that lie with both these teams?
This is why we like new maps coming in. But yeah, to your point, Ray, I mean, you get more opportunities to break on Blackheart. It's just really freaking hard.
I would argue that more opportunities is almost like pointless. I would rather have 2 opportunities on a bigger map than the other maps than having 4 or 5 on that map, bro. It's a blender, bro. You're finding zombie hordes.
I'm gonna lay out this series for you, and people may disagree on this sentiment. If you're FaZe, I'm gonna be candid. I think for the first time ever in a matchup like this, it's a bonus game. I just don't think FaZe Vegas made a lot of changes in the offseason. Major one is a split where we're trying to learn who we are as a team. Like we don't have a pre-built identity.
I disagree 100%.
Can I finish my thought?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. So like, yeah, you want to beat Optic, no shit, but like realistically, this is always a tough match on paper. Optic, 1 champs, 1 EWC. They already know how they want to play, what they want to do. They don't want to give FaZe confidence in the future in this matchup. That's a big thing that these teams talk about. Like you want to throttle these guys so that they think twice every time we play. If you give FaZe an opportunity to upset you here, that fear factor is gone, and they feel like they have an angle on you.
But
so that's just not how I see it.
That's just not how it works, though. That's stuff for like us to talk about, but that's just not how it works. Like both these teams are coming into this like we just got to win this match. Like, it's not, there's no like, oh, we don't want to give them confidence.
Yeah, no shit, but like realistically though.
Realistically,
like,
what?
You really think
realistically,
that's not how they're
you really
thinking.
think FaZe is sitting here going this match thinking that this isn't they're not competing in this. This is a learning experience.
Well,
they're not thinking that
of course they fucking think they can compete. Of course they think they can compete. That's not what I said though. What I'm saying, just because I'm saying it's a bonus match, I'm not saying it's an auto L. I'm just saying you're not fucking losing. The world's not on fucking fire if you lose this match.
Oh, it's definitely not on fire for either team if they lose. I mean,
for either team, for any team.
This is just
even
like,
if Optic were to lose, I don't think I'm seeing.
I would say, but you would say Optic has a lot more to lose in this match than FaZe does. No. I mean, you could cheese it and say, well, it's first match back, rust, whatever. But like, there's also a world where you reflect, and if you watch it back, you're like, people might have caught.
I think this is a match for Optic to kind of see where they truly stand, and like, because I mean, obviously for FaZe, like they clearly are a good search team, and Optic's hardpoint 2 and 3 right now. If they come out and just blow out FaZe and the HPs, then it's like, okay, Optic is back. Like they're soft, like they're back to what they were doing last year. And they've been great so far. Like, I'm not saying they haven't, but I think both these teams are coming here full-fledged, ready to go. And, either team that loses, it's not the end of the world either way because they're both in a good spot. But, yeah, I almost view this, it's not a pick 'em, like Texas are the favorite, but if you're picking FaZe, I don't think you're crazy at all coming into this.
I agree with that.
That's all right now.
It's not.
I think we can all agree that, like, just from a baseline, Optic most likely is the favorite here. Yeah. If we were to pick a winner.
Optic, I just looked on a book that I trust. Optic's minus 400.
See, that's extreme. I would never take that ever. If I was
a lot.
I would never take that. You're talking about a Vegas team. When Vegas, after their loss, and they came back, their search was they 6-0'd Gentlemates and had 6 first bloods in a row. It was so good. And then they're straight. Like, who did they play? Who have Vegas played so far? They played really good teams.
They've only played good teams since preseason.
Started too. From
the weakest team they have played was G2.
They've won 4 straight searches. They just unlocked Colossus, where they 250 to 72 Toronto on it.
That was the best hardpoint they played all split. Was that
Blackheart just got added. If you're FaZe, you're looking at this like, yo, we're about to cook like that's what I'm telling you. That's what they're thinking in their head. That's what they're 100%. Thinking. We're coming in, we're going to play Blackheart. They get rid of Colossus, and then, okay, we go play an Exposure or Den where they've, played twice each time, where you look at it, it's like one hill they just got cooked on.
You just got to be, listen, if you're going to square Blackheart and Colossus, though, remember, the subs on the side of Optic are really good. Tyler and Ant. I know that Ant's had some struggles in hardpoint to begin the year, and I think some of that is limit testing on the way that he plays. They trust a lot of 3v4 fights, and their ARs have obviously been slinging in elite level, so it's fine. But like, there's a world where that gets away from you pretty quick. All I'm saying is, like, there's win conditions for FaZe. I just don't know how you see Optic as a strong favorite in this one.
And then for Ray,
unless you agree with that.
So
Ray,
you
agree with that.
So Ray,
I'd say favorite. I don't know about strong favorite.
Yeah, and Ray, you're coming from a team where you guys had a lot of success last year. I don't really think about narratives and stuff like that. The stuff that we talk about coming into matches, right? Like, that's not really
hell no.
Exactly. Like, that's not really like a thing.
I mean, even to this day, everyone's saying that, like, Travis saved our season. Like, again, I get it from an outside perspective. We didn't do that well. Charlie had some rough goes early in the year, but collectively as a team, again, you guys don't see the daily scrim aspect. And yes, matches mean more than scrims, but from like a progress standpoint, where we were at, we were basically 60-65% win rate in hardpoints and scrims.
Yeah.
Like it and then in matches obviously just wasn't transferring. Again, we can talk about a million things. I'm more so saying, like, we're not behind the scenes thinking like, oh yeah, we're gonna lose to this team because we are struggling.
It's okay. It's a win-win because we're developing.
It's
like,
not.
That's not a thought.
Like, we're fucking going into war, bro. I don't give a shit if we're the worst team in the league. Like, the mentality going to a match is subjectively you're trying to win this shit. I don't care if at the very least if you have any kind of like ins in your head that like, okay, we're going against a tough adversary, it's more a situation where you have a chance to learn things and you're going into it with still trying to win. But if you play your best, you'll know where you stand.
Yeah.
But it's never a single thought process into a match from anyone on the staff or players. If you're thinking that way, bro, you do not belong up there, period.
And there's some things that might be in the back of some people's heads. We talk about narratives and stuff, like if they're, roster spots on the line, but all right. Anyways, we profiled that match. Let's move on.
One sec. Let me talk shit to chat. French said you were dead last. We finished last in the major, but we were 4-3 in the Regular season, we're not dead last, brother. Shut the fuck up. Thank you. Yeah. Next.
You got hit with the brother, you know you're getting cooked.
Brother.
Okay, so let's start with Ben here again on this one. We don't talk too much about it because we've talked about it a lot, Ben, ad nauseum. But Toronto Koi versus LA Thieves. Talk to you about this match, Ben. Who do you think is the favorite coming into this one?
Thieves, but I do think both teams obviously desperately want to win this game. I think for Toronto, the narrative has been last year they were good but not great, and they were just perennially like third. And it's felt like so far this season that like kind of is still maybe where they're at. So they want to keep knocking on the top end of this, going to Major 1 and try and make obviously a final and win. For Thieves, obviously, I mean the community putting a lot of pressure on Ken. I don't think Ken cares, but I think for the Thieves guys, it's just trying to play better team ball. Your point, there's a lot of VOD to review from December. Their team ball and team play was not good.
Yeah,
they got to improve because they can outskill people. I don't think they can outskill Toronto, but they can outskill a lot of teams in the league. You're going to get to Saturday and Sunday, and if you're playing undisciplined ball, you know, you're at Perry's Steakhouse in downtown Dallas Saturday night instead of preparing for a match on Sunday.
Yeah. So
That's funny.
Let me ask you guys this, because in my opinion, they've looked like the strongest, like them and Optic, the strongest overload teams. And to me, that's kind of the difference in this series, and that's why I lean towards Koi. What have you seen in Toronto's overload, Ray, that you think's either giving them an edge, or what do you like about it?
I think their structure and how they go about the modes like extremely good. They're very good at moving ball around, and like when they, I get this sense of every time they control the ball, they have a chance to score. It's never just going to like sit there and do nothing. They always have the mindset of moving around and taking space on somewhere on the map, and they're good at finding the line. I think that's the hardest skill in ball, and I'm calling it ball because I hate overload. I like ball.
Yeah.
But I'm finding that the teams that are having the most success in overload is finding where the line is to where your next engagement is, because there's obviously one objective. You don't like, you kind of, the specific of the spawns is kind of like control, where it's not always like you don't always know exactly where they spawn. So like understanding where people are going to be on the map is probably the hardest mode to deal with that this year.
Yeah.
And I think the team, like Toronto's doing a really, really good job of understanding where that first fight's going to come from. And winning that first fight when you push a lane out is like the most important shit, because then it gives you leisure to move the ball around. Like, let's say, I don't know, exposure, I'm pushing the left side of the map and I win that gunfight deep in their spawn, then the other team has to react to that, and you get all the means to like do what you want after that. Like they're reacting to what you're doing, and then you're the one kind of dictating the play, which is to me the most important thing in that mode.
And that's why Ray was so good at his job, because the data supports 100%. They're actually, league average is 11.5 runs a game. They're right on par with that. And shout out EasyMac for this data. But their score percentage is nearly 50%. League average is 26%. So they are scoring at a high clip. When they have possession and they're trying to score, they're scoring like almost double as much as the rest of the league right now. So Toronto, and kind of exactly what Ray just said, when they have ball possession and they're getting ready to go push for a score, they're going to be successful, at least so far. So I think that that's really interesting in this matchup versus Thieves, who haven't necessarily been lighting the world on fire.
And
I mean, Thieves Overload's been good though.
It's
I mean,
been
they just
solid.
had that one almost scam against FaZe. I probably should have lost that map because they decided to park the bus like they're.
They just got cooked
fucking-
by Genomates.
I'll save my soccer reference for the watch parties, but
that's a good one.
like if Abuza didn't lag out middle map in that map, they should have lost that. To be honest.
Oh, you're
Well,
talking-
I'm gonna tell you, I think where this series won and lost is the searches. By the way,
think so?
I think
they could
S&D
split.
is where it's won and lost here.
I think they could split. I don't know. This will be a good one though, man. I can't wait. These matches are so good this weekend, guys.
I will say, like, if we, I think, I mean, we need to give fucking Insight his flowers a little bit.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Insight's been fucking performing so far this
Yeah.
year, and I love that kid to death. So I'm really, really happy that he is. I just think, like, if we take the same conversation we had about speed from the other teams in Hardpoint, I think that's like the one thing from Toronto that, like, as collectively as a team, I think that's important that they all do that. Like, their sub duo definitely can. I think Kleenex being a sub before, obviously Kleenex played with speed. I'd love to see Insight maybe pick up his pace a little bit. Generally speaking, again, this is not specific, but like in HP, I think this team's gonna be fucking like a hard team to deal with this year. Like,
Yeah.
they are good across all modes. They have potential to be really good in search. Their play style is still kind of similar to what it was last year. So I don't think there'll be a team that necessarily dominates search, because they don't like to take action too much at certain times. Like, it's very reliant on like Joe creating openings.
We just
but
know
I
where
definitely
Insight's
think,
going to
bro,
be, right? So it's
yeah,
kinda
that's the thing, bro.
yeah.
And this is where, from a predictability standpoint, this team maybe is a little easier to play against when
Yeah.
you play Surge. But I think, dude, they have all the means to have success this year. I love this roster.
Same.
I think it's just a matter of like them maybe pushing the limits a little bit on how they want to go about certain things, and they're definitely a team I could see having a chance to win events. At the very least, they're going to make a lot of Sundays. Like I love that team.
They just seem like they're going to be competent in all the game modes, and even with like the hard point, they're one of the teams that played every map, right? So clearly still trying to find themselves in that game mode a little bit, and then yeah, you got to assume that their overload will just remain solid. But yeah, that's it for the games that we kind of highlighted. You guys ready to do some call-ins?
Yeah, let's do some call-ins.
All right,
Link in the chat if you guys want to join and put your hands up.
Put your hands up. Let me load this up here.
Do we want to call Dylan right away? What do we want to do? Because Dylan just content farming us. So do we want to give him instant gratification, or what do you want to do here?
I think we give him instant gratification here.
Right, I'll call him.
Let's get him in here. Let me pull this up real quick. What is this? A Discord breakdown? Hold on, give me 1 second, Del. One second. Let me pull this up.
On.
What's up, Coach Patch?
How we doing, guys?
All right, we're good.
Ray, and
what's up?
Love your guys' contribution on the show today. Ben,
Thanks.
You kind of went off on some tangents, but
Yeah, here we go.
Actually is for Ben today.
Okay, here we go.
It's been because it's been brought to my attention from my chat. So you guys know my chat can get sometimes. I get a little rowdy. I love the flank, right, Ben? Like I've been watching the flank since the inception of it. You and Tom.
Sure.
And why can you, Ben? Can you like look at the camera? Why are you looking into your palms,
bro? Just say your piece, man. Just say your piece,
no,
okay?
I'm just saying. So I've been loving the flank for a while. Last year, the past couple of years, it's been you, it's been Tom, it's been Pat, Octane, and Parasite. And you guys have done a great job. Like the community always looks forward to the shows after the matches, wrapping everything up, breaking it down. Like no one else could do it besides you guys. And my chat brought to my attention that like some people, there's, might be some DEI hiring going on. And I said, I don't know. But then I thought about it. You guys hired me, I'm a little Asian and a little.
I see where this is going now.
You hired Enable, who, doesn't have a thumb. He's redhead too. And Donnie Temp. So like, was there any truth behind that, or was my chat just making shit up? What do you think, Ben?
Dylan, I appreciate you hopping in, bro. We gotta get to more questions, but I appreciate you hopping in, bro.
Dill, when last time we were golfing, Ben talked to me directly about this topic. He said he needed a little bit more representation on the show, and he actually brought it to me. And I said, it's like do my own thing, but thinking about it, it kind of makes sense. You, Donnie, and then obviously having ginger representation as well. So.
Of course.
Listen,
Ben, you want some French Canadian representation? I'm here.
We might need some French Canadian.
We get Ray on, I think. Listen, I will say Dill has been great on the show. So make sure you tune in. Dill has been phenomenal on the show, and I've been very impressed.
Thank you, Ben.
But I don't know why you're always trying to get me fucking canceled, bro. Like what?
I'm not getting you canceled.
Dill has loaded questions every time he joins. Yo, can you invite Jay in here to speak as well?
Yeah, I appreciate it, Dill. But
hi there, Dill.
All right, let's get Jay in here. Guys, join the stage if you want to ask questions.
What up, bro?
What's good, brother Jay?
What's up, boys? What's going on?
Chat, me and Jay have a tournament today, so keep that in mind later
the
today.
Pop Bash, sponsored by Pine Park.
I don't know if we do.
Wait, what do you mean? You're not playing?
No, we do, but I don't know if we actually gonna be playing. Last time we lost to BenJ, we got
Yeah, this is true. That is true.
I'm not playing this. I'm not playing this tournament though.
Really lost to Haggy. But yo, what up, Jay? How you doing, bro?
You lost to me too. What are you talking about?
No, you did
nothing.
Haggy
How's the show? How's the show?
Show's been
the show is good. The show's good, but what do you got for us, Shay? What do you got?
I don't got a question. I just wanted to come hang with the boys.
Oh yeah, come hang out.
Oh
yeah. Bring the next call in.
I got a ton of stuff in this morning. They're annoying me, so yeah, I'm here.
Let's bring on Jason's got his hand up. Let's bring on
Ben. Can you link it to your chat? Guys, join for call-ins. We're gonna do 10 questions.
I did. I've linked it. So there's not a lot of questions right now. So it might be a short segment, guys.
We were locked.
What's up, brother Jace?
What's going on, guys? How's everybody doing?
I'm doing good. Better now that you're here.
I'd love to hear that. I just have a question for everyone except Ben here. Don't take it personal, Ben, but this is going to be for everyone else. What do you guys think about who would win in a 1v1 in Call of Duty? BenJ Nassim or Jersey Jerry? And I do have a stat here to back it up. Jersey Jerry's kill count versus Scump in Black Ops 7 is 1. BenJ seems 0. That's all I'm going to say. Take that info how you want. But I personally think that Jerry might run his pockets.
Okay, so let me start us off and let me ask a question to you for this hypothetical. It depends on where this is taking place and how it's taking place. If it's on land in front of an audience, Ben is cooked. Absolutely cooked.
Literally.
But if it's like, if Ben's chilling, no cam, and it's just like a team speak, Ben is going to fry him. So where are we doing this? What is this?
I think a match with this much star power and just absolute potential to just gather a crowd of hundreds of people, I think that this would have to be done on land.
Yeah, it's cooked. Ben's cooked. Sorry, it's over.
Oh, you have no belief in me?
No, because the whole
Jerry?
crowd is going to be rooting against you, Ben. Everybody.
Major
100% they 100% they are. But I don't care.
I'll be rooting against you.
I love Jerry, but I think I got this.
I'm going Jerry. I got Jerry.
I know my friends are backing me up, man. Right, come on.
Man,
You gotta be in my corner,
you,
Ray.
man, but I don't know, bro. I mean, I'm telling you, I just
Pressure
Jerry
at the
just seems to
highest.
have a knack for the pressure,
fuck,
bro.
man.
Like, you think you can hit
got
bench?
one on
Seriously,
set, bro.
deadass. Just take Jerry's name out of this. Just anyone 1v1 that like is similar skill to you. Do you not feel like you would lose potentially based on the pressure of the moment being on stage? And
I would hope that I have some back in the crowd. But
I'm just saying, like the pressure.
I got this, bro. If it's Jerry, I got this, bro.
Have you seen how locked in and focused he gets on when he plays at his setup? Could you imagine his face playing on land with hundreds of people watching him?
Yeah, but his hands would be sweating, bro.
Oh, yeah, he'd be terrified. Jerry'd be screaming at him when they didn't even load into the map.
But I will say this: Ben definitely is beating him in a straight up 1v1. Like if Ben's just locked in playing, he's winning.
This is like 1v1 kills, 1v1 hard points. Like, what's the format on this?
All right.
We can do
Thanks,
this
Jason.
straight.
Man, it really shouldn't even matter. Ben, you should just be
Ben's
like,
getting
"Oh, man,
analytical.
what
Yeah, no, I got this shit, bro. I'm shocked that none of my friends are in my corner,
does
though.
not
It's
exude
fucking crazy.
confidence.
None of my friends in my corner is fucking crazy.
Well,
but it's
I
all
think
good,
you're
though.
better
Look,
than
I'm
Jerry.
believing you, bro.
Noted. Fucking noted.
And we're giving you all the win on lines, without a
Yeah.
doubt.
I believe you,
No, you're just saying I'm an onliner.
You're a
though.
liner.
I am. I'm sorry,
You
Ben.
are a warrior. Yep.
Uh-uh.
You are a warrior.
All right, let's get the next call in here. Thank you,
Good
Jace.
question, Jason.
Appreciate
Good
it.
question.
Yep,
Thank you,
yep.
Jay.
Appreciate
Thank
it,
you, guys.
Jace. Appreciate it. Thank you, Joe.
Yep.
Shout out Jerry.
Yeah, for what it's worth,
Right
Ben,
there.
I just, on land, I don't know, man. Pressure mounts. Changes a player.
All right. Britt's bringing
What's going on?
Moss and he's had his hand up for a while. Let's go, bro.
What's good? What's good?
What up,
Listen,
brother?
first off, I got BenJ. He be locked. We all seen the
Let's
first game.
go. Let's go. Appreciate
That's
it,
number
man.
one.
Thank you so much.
That's number one. Number two, I think we can all agree it's gonna be weird to like see the league without Slasher. Like, do y'all have like a favorite memory, whether it be teaming with him or being an analyst? Either way.
Just competing against them,
Let it
bro.
go.
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think his LAG win. That was the most simple win I've ever seen.
oh
11
yeah.
S&Ds in a row. Being the super underdog, pulling out an extra chip before you ended his career. That's the one I remember for Lily Goat.
I think for me,
Congrats on all
it's,
his career, my friend.
I think Black Ops 3 is most impressive for me because I know he was going to school at the time,
Yeah.
balancing a lot of stuff. And the way that team turned it on at the end of the season in order to win, I think they won, stage 2 playoffs and won champs. Like, that was extremely typical.
I don't think there's a specific moment I would say, but I would say I always had a lot of admiration and respect for when they had that Envy team, Cap and Slasher's approach towards Call of Duty. I loved, and I really, no pun intended, I envied the way that team approached COD, and that was when I first gained.
Man.
It was so textbook, and like, I would say the comeback that they had on the uplink, I think it was at Champs, was
That champs.
yeah, that was so electric, and it was like encompassing of everything that Cap and Slasher have been preaching for so long. And I remember watching that and just thinking, Jay, I think we talked about this too. We're like, dude, if only we can get our team to be so bought in and play like this. And I can assure you, every team that was pro at the time was thinking that same exact thing, knowing how good Envy would be. Yeah. And that was just Slasher's approach towards the rest of his career. So that I would say that moment.
Why weren't you guys bought into what I was trying to preach on Ghost, man? Jay was arguing me every day, bro.
Well, I mean,
I was a young moron.
shit.
What do you want me to do? I was
That's
young and
hard.
moronic,
Oh, no.
It's
Now
hard.
that
You're
I'm
just
older,
young.
Ray, I'm very
That's
appreciative
a
of
100%
everything.
good shot, though, man. I love
Yeah,
that one. That was a
yeah.
good one. What I would say is a little. I'm since y'all went serious with it, I'm gonna get a little trollier. I think I remember a lot of clips of him and Pat going at it, and those are always extremely
Good
irritating.
content. Sometimes on the show, by the way, there are some past episodes of Codcast. I think I'll send a few clips on.
Yeah,
Like in World War II for sure.
he had some good moments. Shout out,
What do
Austin.
you think's next for him? What do you think? Do you think he could be like an analyst or a coach? What do you think? You think he's got that
Austin,
competing
he can
spirit?
honestly do whatever he wants.
Yeah.
He's a very
Yeah.
intellectual young man. Like, he's got his degree.
Smart
Like,
dude.
Austin could really do whatever he wants, bro.
Austin is the man, brother. We'll see.
Oh yeah,
We'll all be your support, whatever he decides. But thank you for the question, my boy. Appreciate you.
absolutely.
Later, most likely get a trade.
Let's bring in we're gonna bring in Tennyson. He's been waiting a little bit here.
What's up, Tennyson?
Yo, what's good, boys? What's good?
What's good? What's
BenJ,
good?
I also got you too, man. You're running.
Let's go. Appreciate it, man. Thank you so much.
Jesus.
All right, I got a question for you guys. I know it's pretty early in the season right now, but if you guys had to make a pick, do you guys see any dark horses right now that could make a top 3 in Major 1?
Is Miami a dark horse?
Yeah,
think
name the teams that wouldn't be considered a dark horse.
Like, I see my top 4, like the Gentlemates, Optic, Thieves, maybe FaZe.
I'll go
Koi.
Falcons.
Do you see that? I like that.
Yeah, I'll go Falcons.
I like that. Okay.
If Miami isn't a dark horse, I would say Miami. If not, I would say probably Falcons.
Yeah, I think those are the two
I
teams.
got Boston.
Yeah, I'm
Boston's
really
a good
Ray.
one.
I'm with
Boston's a
you.
good one.
I'm going
I
Boston.
got Boston. I mean, we saw them. They did it twice last year.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I mean, like obviously Wake's a good player. I mean, a little biased here, but I'm a big Nasty fan.
Yeah.
I think to me it's a team that needs to like have everyone put it together on the day to do well.
Mhm.
But I think fundamentally, I think they're playing the game the right way. I think it's just a matter of everyone coming out and shooting the way they need to shoot consistently to make it to Sunday. So I would say Boston personally.
I think it's a great shout.
I'm with you.
They'd probably be a deeper
I'm with you.
dark horse, but yeah, I would go Falcons. We got a Falcons, we got a Boston, and then I don't know if Miami could be considered dark horse, bro. They were a top 4.
Nah,
I mean, they have the roster change though. Like the roster change to me would put him in that bucket though.
But like
Yeah.
if they were a Sunday, nobody's sitting here like, oh wow. But like if we see Falcons
Yeah,
Sunday or
fine.
Boston, we're like, oh, that's
Right
very
now,
impressive.
okay, right. Like he's saying for Major 1, right now, you're telling me if Miami makes it to Sunday Major 1, you're not surprised.
No.
No, I don't think I would. They were super
I would,
good.
honestly. I'm not gonna lie. I would.
Metals has found his flow in this game, bro. As long as Trakes eventually just picks it back up, eventually the chemistry will be there. S&D's still there.
I think it'd be a
I
slight
definitely think they have it.
We know what they're
overachieve,
capable of.
but you
The
know how
question was for
brackets
Major
work
1.
out. You know how brackets work
Yeah,
out.
for Major
It's
1, I
like-
think they can. Without question, I think they could get a top 3. Like, it wouldn't surprise me. A surprise would be like Surge, C9, Boston. Well, I think Boston.
I would be pretty
Surge,
shocked
C9,
if
not really
Boston were top 3. But all right, we'll see how it plays out. Thanks for the question, brother.
I appreciate you, brother.
Hey, man, thank you so much. Let's get Charlie in here.
Charlie Hixie.
Oh no.
Let's
Charlie
go.
Hicks.
What's up, Charlie?
Oh,
Go,
fuck
go.
no.
Hello.
Charlie
Brother
here.
Charlie,
Hey, Charlie.
mate.
All
Oh,
right,
he's
Charlie.
laying at his desk. Oh no.
Oh,
there he is.
man.
So let's look. Give him a minute or two to fix his mic. Now we'll kick him back to the audience here in about 20, 30 seconds.
We could bring BenJ Scattaboo in real quick in the interim. We close it out with
Charlie.
Hixie.
Get him down. Charlie, I'm going to move you back to the audience. Just put your hands up once your mic is ready.
Yeah, bring in BenJ Scat.
BenJ Scatabo is an insane username.
Wow, what a name.
It's Gersh. I'm not gonna cap. I was.
BenJ Scatabo is insane, though. That's insane, bro. That's insane.
A new gimmick because you guys would have known, bro. But no. Genuine question. Look, I don't know if it's because like I've been able to dip my toes a little longer than like the average COD fan has, and I've been able to see different careers play out. But it definitely feels like we cycle talent super fast in the league. I don't think you guys would disagree with that, with the way Challengers has gone past 3 years.
Yeah.
It does make it tough though when I see vets start to falter. I know this is a long setup. Trust, I'm getting to the question.
You're good.
Seeing someone like Aches win a ring like what 4 or 5 years apart from his last one makes me still have that belief in a lot of the vets that might not perform too hot, whether it's Slasher or whether it's a guy like Kenny. My question specifically is if we do see Nium get picked up on Thieves or just anyone get picked up and Kenny replaced, how likely or what do you think is more likely? Kenny getting back on a top team again? Or do you think Kenny might have to, call it quits or
Can I start this one?
Go. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think what you brought up with the egg situation is to me what glares in the difference between things now and things then. But really look at the type of game that he won his next ring on. and look at the games that were in between his previous ring.
Yeah.
Like it's just the boots on the ground, kind of more old school-ish COD. Like that's the difficulty now with teams, is that obviously every team is trying to be good now. They're making changes based on winning at the very moment. Who's to say the game next year isn't like COD 4, for example, where it's like extremely slow, and then we're back to very standard-ish kind of fundamentals of COD, where it's not about kind of banging stuff out and playing quick with your numbers anymore. It's about playing more what Kenny or the players that you're talking about are used to playing. So I think it's extremely hard to predict those things, and I think the league nowadays makes it difficult, because back when Aches was playing, it was still more like open brackety, right? There wasn't necessarily a set. Was there a set league in stage? Like it wasn't the same it is now, right? But
World 2, no.
Like from a contractual standpoint, like players now who kind of get pushed out, unless they keep playing challengers, have a hard time kind of staying in the mix.
Yeah.
So I think it's very difficult to see that. If it's a year or two apart, I can see it, but 5 years, I don't think we'll ever see another Pat again.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with everything Ray said. It all really depends on the player and like their passion to play. Like if Kenny wants to keep playing, and first of all, this is like a loaded question because I don't think they should be even considering dropping Kenny yet.
Thinking about our Australia.
100% agree.
But if this does happen, this hypothetical, Kenny would get on another team. I think if he wants to keep playing, it's just come down to him.
I don't know.
This year, I don't know. This year,
I feel like it's different this year, because last year it was just like, all right, you started off on the World Championship team, then you had to redeem yourself potentially on Minnesota, didn't make champs, and then this year you instantly spawned into a redemption team for your career, like with these. If this falls through, I think it's going to be tough for Kennedy to even work his way back onto a bottom team.
I think you guys are a little bit more doomy than it actually is.
It's just because he's more highlighted this season than he was last season.
I think Jay's getting more towards my question. My question is really like, do you think another top team would believe in him like we do and like give him that chance, or would
another
they
top team?
Top team, probably not.
Another lower team,
top team now.
Not right away, at least. He would. I mean, I definitely
lower teams. Do you think they'd rather go for like
it depends on their situation. It depends on their situation, though. Like it's all these roster changes are situational.
I think a lower team with a lot of young coming amateur players could benefit from Kenny for sure.
A little bit of experience, yeah.
There's so much nuance.
Like you ask me right now, if Kenny was to be dropped and he needed to be picked up to an instant roster right now, I would say Surge. Yeah. Like I feel like that's a good pickup. You get an experienced guy who could potentially teach the young guys, the right way, and a chance of redemption. But
there's just a lot of nuance to this conversation, because it's like it brings in like, how are these other teams performing? Like how's Boston playing? How's Camby playing? How's C9 playing, right? Where it's like, okay, can he come in and be better for some of these teams? But yeah, I mean, you really can't. It's hard to forecast these types of things, because it also depends on how Kenny performs going forward, right?
Yeah.
Because he could come out on the other side of this break and be playing well.
Be the best.
Playing maybe not best, but playing well. And yeah, I mean, it's going to be hard to consistently pop off numbers wise with that roster that he's on anyway. I think we're seeing that.
We all want to.
Yeah. And we're seeing that with like Ghosty's popping off now on this new roster. You know what I mean? In a like slightly similar but a little bit different role, where he's able to, Sib's more willing to play a little bit slower, play for spawns, be the guy that's kind of like letting Ghosty go out and slay. And we've seen that in Sib's career, which he never gets credit for, by the way. Been saying for years. And now we're seeing Ghosty absolutely fry. So situation matters a lot, and I think Kenny will be just fine. But time will tell.
Agreed.
Yep. Appreciate you guys.
No problem, Gersh.
I would also assume, boys. Thank you, Gersh. Right. I would also assume when Kenny joined this team, like these types of things were talked about, right? Where it's like,
100%.
You know what I mean? Like he didn't just join and they're like, oh, if Kenny's dropping a 0.8, like we're gonna drop. Like these things had been talked about. They know.
Yeah. Without a doubt.
I would hope they know, because they've got.
There's no way it would have been picked up if it was based on last year's performance. Like, let's be real.
No one on team's a rook. Like they've been in the show for a while. So
I'm saying people like
that's why I low-key find it. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I low-key find it very weird that Kenny already has this much pressure on him after only 2 weeks.
Yeah. And Jay, we watched the game a little bit different.
Completely different after a month break. Like you probably see stats popping up in scrims here and there. It's scrims. When he gets to the actual match, it's gonna be different. I think he's right now. It's just too much pressure on him.
All right, so we got two more questions. We got Hixie, and then we got Moon, and then I got something I want to talk to Easy Mac about.
Hello.
Yeah, what's good, Charlie?
Is that Charlie?
Mike's good. I've muted Ray, so just so you know, I can't hear Ray. Just for everyone else, because I know Ray's opinion on this. Obviously, I'm just curious if you guys think any other team could use a Hicksy type player out there. You know?
Well, you getting killed, Hicksy? What's up, Charlie? You getting
no, never. But
so we're not getting killed. How we gonna pick you up?
Well, come on, bro. Like,
yeah, I mean, there's a few teams that could use a Hicksy presence. That type of
let's go on. Come on.
And thought process. I mean, I think Carolina's an easy one to instantly point out. Like looking at them, we already talked about like the leadership problem that some of these teams could potentially have, especially with Slasher not being on that team anymore.
They're very young now.
But I know you said you muted Ray. He's a good one to answer this question.
Can I tell you what's a very telling sign to me about? I think 2 years ago, Ernie Scrap made a point on stream that half the teams in the league don't know how to win. And I know Ernie was probably more speaking towards like gameplay mechanics, but I think it applies to a wider thing. I do think there is something like that, Charlie, because I'll give you an example, right? Like Major 2, where our watch party was, I can see all of the PPA, and I could see like when teams arrived. I couldn't see into the PPA, but I could see the entrance when people walked back there. And I don't think it'd be shocking for you guys to know the really good teams at that event were the first teams in and the last teams out. The teams that were not the first teams in, were some of your teams at the bottom, who should maybe be grinding harder. So I do agree with Charlie. I think some of these body teams do have a culture problem. For someone to come in and help set an example, I think would be of use.
Just so you know, I'm fully trolling. Everyone in this chat thinks I'm dead serious. Holy shit. People in this chat think people don't even know I'm not playing. Like, people think I'm dead serious.
Well, listen, Charlie, me and Jay and Ray might be making a comeback. Can we join?
Oh God, let's go join the challenge cover real quick.
I'm keen.
What
do you want, Ray, bro? No, bro. You're worse, me, Ray.
Oh God! Wow. Let's pull up the wiki pages real quick. Holy,
sorry. Whoa, sorry.
No. Listen, I think you two can sell this on the golf course. 18. How many trophies?
Charlie doesn't.
Ray is cooking him.
Ray is see where I played.
I will say they've both been absolutely fried in a grand final on the biggest stage before. So it's definitely very comparable. Non-competitive grand final. Who, me? Yeah, I was on the one with Ray.
He was there with me.
I was there. All right, never mind. I was there.
Hicksy, guess what? I didn't get fried.
You're right there with us. I like it.
I was there.
All right.
We lost in 30 minutes.
My bad. I'll stop trolling. I'm a good one.
It really was that fast.
I appreciate you hopping on Charlie. It's always comedy.
Very similar arcs here. Just a little bit more jewelry in the back
Charlie's
for Ray.
Always comedy, bro. Always comedy. All right, let's get Moon in here. That'll be our last call, and then we'll talk to Austin.
Yeah, I got something with Austin I want to propose.
Yo, what's good, Moon? What do you got for us?
What's up? So I have 2 questions, if that's cool.
Yeah, it's fun.
Right. So the Phase Trio. So do you ever see them ever teaming again?
Hell no.
No.
Whoa.
Ever, like before?
I
once
think,
you break that seal, it's over with. You can't go back.
I think yes, but is it the wise decision for them because of we have to understand 6 years teaming is like pro teams and esports don't team that long. Professional sports teams, players aren't teammates sometimes for that long. Like, they're in a little bit of an uncharted territory, not really charted waters in aspect. And like, there's so much scar tissue and past situations just build up. I don't know if teaming again is wise. You know what I'm saying? Like, they may try it at some point because it's convenient, but is it the right play? I don't know.
I mean, go ahead, Ray.
No, you go.
I was gonna say the other aspect of this is it's also really hard to get like contracts to line up and things of that nature in the first place to make a super team. And now that they're kind of split up, I don't even know if they'll be in a position to do that again.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, that's the other part.
If you take all of that out of the equation, I think like ultimately the answer to your question is really why did they decide to break up in the first place?
Yeah.
And like we'll never truly know the answer to that, but like from my take, and I got to hang out with them a little bit at AWC last year, it didn't seem like everything was all that bad. Granted, I'm not seeing behind the curtains, right? But I could see it happening again. It's just based on what really caused the breakup in the first place. I mean, they were so successful. It's not like they were bad, bro. Yeah. Like, they won 2 events last year. It's just like
what players have ever recircled what players after a long layoff, not like 6 months, after a year or 2 years, recircled the wagons and actually like super paid off?
Wait, well,
I can't remember the times
long,
where
right?
a team has actually done that, though. To be honest,
I
like
can't
no
think
one's
that
team.
hard.
First off, no one's ever teamed together for as they did for that long.
For 6 years, yeah.
Like I think their situation is completely different than anything. There's no precedent to their situation, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think if they don't find success on their own individual side, I could see them potentially, at least two of them, kind of having the mindset of trying to get back together.
You were saying T2B, but like, that really work out for them though?
World Championship. All right. Then
The first time around, but after they split and Kid got back, I wouldn't say that was.
I mean, success
Yeah,
is
they were a good
subjective.
team, but were they
I
a
don't know.
great team?
I mean,
like,
they won.
I don't think so.
Success is subjective, bro. I mean, winning events. And
Yeah,
racking,
but
like,
they're
the world's
championship or
game
bust
against
team,
other-
and like when they reteamed, they were not. You know what I'm saying? So like, I don't know if that's a good example.
I don't know. If I'm them, I would have never broken up.
Yeah, but you don't.
Yeah, me neither.
It's so easy to say that from the outside.
We don't know. Yeah, you look at it from an outside perspective. Obviously, it's obvious. Like I think everyone in their right minds would probably say what you're saying, but there's obviously something that was preventing them from finding the success they felt they required to make it like worthwhile, and then they felt like they had better opportunities going on their own.
I mean, if we're just talking about trio, we could look at duo, and like Insight and Kleenex have now they're entering a kind of a. It's been a while.
It's just the beginning of the.
Yeah, 5.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, five years. So going on 6. So yeah, I mean, I guess they're another one we can kind of look at that's in that area. I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. As long as y'all still get along. Yeah, Shotzi Dashi. But yeah, what's your next question? You said you had 2. What's the next one?
And then yeah, each of you guys could answer this question like individually. If you had to rate the FaZe trio just purely off skill, how would you rank them?
10.
10.
Each player.
Best to worst.
Like
yeah.
10.
Oh, like
Not
ranking
10.
the 4?
Yeah, like 1, 2, and 3. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
Simp
like
1.
just those 3 together. Simp 1, Cell 2, BZ 3.
I mean, it's game to game.
Yeah,
it's game to game.
It's such a tough combo.
It's game to game.
No, over 6 years. Over 6 years.
Chris is clearly one. I argue with the wall.
Yeah.
I love MC's my guy.
MC won MVPs. Like
Chris is clearly one.
Gotta be there. Yeah.
I think MC and Tyler is interchangeable by the title.
I think it's hard to put Cell or BZ kind
MC's
of
been
above
the
each
best
other. I don't
killer
know.
in the CDL the last
bro.
couple of years. There's no doubt in my mind he's number 2.
Chris is a clear one.
Simp 1, 2A, and 2B. I can't really.
MVP,
It's game to game after that because like MW2, bro, Abizi was absurd at that game. Like,
yeah.
I know, but for the last 3 titles before that, it was all MC.
I mean, it's like I said, it's just to me, it's game to game, and I mean,
Number 1 thing 80 in multiple years. Number 1
roles.
Slayer multiple years. Like, yeah, different roles, but like in his role, he was the best, no doubt.
I mean, but
just like
how
everybody
much
in their role was the best.
I'd look at it more in a sense of which player, like on their own, has the best chance to like help a team win because of the like just variety of skill sets they bring. I think there's no, I don't think there's any argument that Simp would be number 1.
Yeah,
good take.
I think I kind of like the game discussion. Like I think for like games, I mean, this is super easy to answer, but like in games where AR are more predominant, then obviously Cell's gonna have a bigger impact.
Yeah.
But I don't like, from what I've heard, and from, again, I've never worked with these guys specifically, so I couldn't tell you. Ben probably has better experience with them, but I think from the outside looking in, I think Cell and the BZ both bring kind of the same generalistic value from like culture and outside stuff. From a skill set, they're very good in their own ways. You have to take, I think Ant said it best. I think it's just Simp 1, and then you go 2A, 2B with the other 2. You can't really separate them, I don't think.
Yeah, because then it comes down to like, then we're talking about like, okay, what does our team need, right? And that dictates the value that player has to you. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's a good question. Got us thinking. I appreciate it, bro.
Yeah, for sure. All right.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, yep.
All right, guys. So we were talking about snipers earlier, and like kind of how the impact that they're having right now on the league, and if we think it should be 2 rounds still or not. And so I wanted Easy Mac to join up here because you said you had some data for the sniper, like how many, like, what'd you say, how many SD kills there's been, and then how many sniper kills there's been, or something like that. You still here?
Yeah, we have 70 sniper kills so far this year out of 1,256. So it's around like 5.5%.
Yeah.
But there's a bunch of like context that's needed with it. So in World War II, we were around 5% for sniper kills. Same thing with MW 2019 was around 6%. But you also have to put like the context in it is when the majority of a sniper's deaths are actually a counter sniper. So when you have more rounds when you have snipers on the team, you're going to have the same percentages of kills because you're going to have somebody that's countering you more often.
Yeah.
Whereas right now, like you're currently having teams trying to spice up when they're using the sniper. So they aren't getting counter sniped as much. So that's allowing it to actually have more of a free reign. And when you look at certain maps, there's maps that have a higher percentage. So like looking back to World War II, I don't know if you guys remember playing USS Texas.
Yeah, what a map.
There was
Worst
maps
map
where
all fucking time that.
What a map.
there was maps where there was 4 snipers on the map at one time. There was teams that were like sniping on both sides of the boat. That map had 16% of its kills on the map were snipers, compared to like Arden's Fortis, which was like 4%. We're already seeing like a bunch of them. There's only like 1 or 2 maps currently in the map pool where the sniper rate is high. That's Scar and then Raid.
Oh, really? Raid?
Well, because like Dashy had like most of his 4 kills. I think he only has 4 snipes. We're all on like the Raid. There was that one map. But let me just do Den real quick. But
Austin,
most of it,
Den's got to be up there.
Austin, can I ask you a question?
Yeah, hit me.
Do you have the percentage round 1 loss when a team has a sniper and the other team doesn't?
I don't have, because like I don't have all the POVs of the players, so I can't do when they actually have it. But I can tell you, when a team gets a sniper kill in the round, they win 70% of the time.
Wow.
Fair. I mean,
So that's the argument.
Typically it's a pick. That's like saying if I get a pick,
I get first blood. We have the advantage.
Yeah.
And that's where like I think it's a little bit too restrictive because I just don't think there's enough like counters for a sniper right now because most of the teams are staggering when they're actually using it. We're not seeing as much sniper on sniper, and I think that's actually making the numbers look like the sniper's better than it is.
Yeah, because some people decide to pull it out early into games. They lose their 2 lives, and then all right, you haven't used it all the entire game so far on the opposite side. Now you whip it out knowing that you have the advantage and you won't get counter sniped.
Well, there's
a strategy.
There's 2 sides to the coin, right? Where it's like, okay, we talk about the sniper being a little oppressive. Well, then if this one guy gets pre-nated or whatever, loses the sniper, then the sniper becomes even way more oppressive, right? So I 100% understand that angle. That'll be something the pros have to talk about. Like, I don't know, because at least round 11 as well. Like going into a round 11 without being able to counter snipe puts you in such a hell spot.
Yeah, if I was them, I'd just allow it the entire game because it just eliminates that random factor of the opposite team having it. But then you also don't force yourself to completely have different strategies, knowing that you don't have any sniper anymore.
So Austin, basically what you're saying is the percentage is higher because there's no counter sniping once the guy's gone. Is that's kind of what you're?
That's what I
saying?
think.
Okay,
Like, because I'm looking. Yeah, I'm looking at like right now. I just did Den, so 7% of the Den kills are snipers. I'm doing Scar real quick too. I think that number would go down drastically if we had more counter. Like people think like smokes and everything like that is the counter, but a lot of it's actually where you position your own sniper. And I think if we actually have more of that, then you would have less sniper kills on the map overall compared to the total. So right now, Den is the only one where it's above the World War II and MW19 averages. So that's at 7%. Scar's at 4%. So you see the rest of the maps are actually way lower than the averages of old school games.
I think over time, like teams are going to be able to develop strats to basically eliminate snipers, just like how we saw it. It's very old, but in Ghost, how in the beginning a sniper is so impactful, and then it's just smoke, incog, or cold blood, or whatever the hell it is. You eventually will figure out a way to make it more beneficial to counter a sniper. They will know over time with more reps, understanding certain positionings, what you can peek, what you can't peek, and that all comes with time. So I think that percentage will eventually go down as time goes on.
Ray, wasn't this your argument in December when we talked about this? I forget if we were on this show or on the flank.
It was we were talking on the flank, I think. But I think the only thing that bugs me again with the coming back to like the 2-round use thing is that you can call it strategy. Yes, it is technically a strategy to choose when to use or not use a sniper, but you also have no idea what the other team is doing as well. So to me, it's just more blind countering than anything else, which is, as a professional, I would hate as a player. I don't want to just rely on luck to get success.
But you do know if you kill that other sniper twice.
Yeah, but
You
what if
do
they
know.
did? But
You
I
can
mean, yeah,
follow.
but if he doesn't pick it up, if he doesn't pull it out the first 2 rounds, I could have built a strategy around him having it, and he just didn't have it out.
It
You
does
also
make
don't know
it.
if like
There's
you
a
kill
degree
him
of
with a nade,
randomness.
or like if you kill him when he's like rotating with a pistol, you actually don't know if he has a sniper. Whereas in like
Well-
CS, the argument that people use for CS is like, oh, it's a strategy like that. But in CS, you can read the other team's economy,
Yeah.
and
Right.
you have those indicators outside of seeing what the player has.
Right.
You don't have
you
that
know.
in COD.
Right.
No.
I mean, we're adding a
I think-
degree of
I think-
randomness for sure. Like, there's no
Yes,
argument about it.
that's where I'm frustrated
But they
because I
are
think,
professionals.
like to me,
They can
if
still
like
gain info.
the quick thought process is like there's not a million sniper positions on the map. Like you kind of know what
Mm-hmm.
a team is going to go for sniper position wise. You should, if you're playing with pace early in the round, use your smoke properly. You should be able to nullify the sniper to get a good angle and get
Mhm.
space. And I feel like space is the counter snipers. If the snipers aren't allowed to just sit in a lane and just watch over the team pushing it, then the use of the sniper is decreased by a million.
Yeah.
I'm
Mhm.
sure. Mac, do you have stats on how early the picks come, like the kills from a sniper comes in around?
Yeah, hold on, give me 1 sec.
I guarantee
Scar,
you
they're
it's
probably
pretty
really
early.
late. Well, Scar, you have early rounds, but then it's just like those late 30-second pushes towards the A side. Somebody's sitting top green. You just haven't.
Yeah, I guess it'll be more map specific. But
Yeah.
I think more so like they'll be more early than late. Like I think we can all agree on that. So if
Yeah.
you're
Mhm.
if you understand a team's going to use a sniper, and let's say I knew a team can use a sniper each round, and I'm like early in the game because of the fact there's no rules against that. Maybe they'll just use a sniper early on and I'm building strategies against that. Then that helps.
It's way
But yeah,
less
the randomness, I
controllable
get-
going into a game of like, okay, this is how we want to start. Well, we don't really know how we can start here because we don't know
Correct.
what rounds they're gonna have the sniper out, right?
But
So
regardless, you're always going to start to cater your team. You're going to do what you want to do. You're not really worried about the
yeah,
other team.
but snipers
We're
kind
just
of
more so
I'm
talking in terms of like
using the
countering
sniper,
the
I'm gonna use it.
sniper.
yeah, but
We're
like
just
if
more so
we're,
talking about like the counters.
Yeah.
Like that's basically what we're bringing up here.
yeah, like if I know a sniper can be, I don't know, red steps, motel watching top, like
Mhm.
you know, it's gonna change the way you approach the round. Like what Ray said is facts, bro. You're adding a degree of
100%, yeah, yeah.
randomness and making it kind of blind counters, which is just not
Yeah,
great.
that's
on-
why I said
on
to
pro
eliminate
level.
the degree of randomness, just allow it to be used at all times.
I mean, I
I
agree.
mean, it still
That's how you
wouldn't.
eliminate it.
Theoretically, you could still have a team that only uses sniper for 2 or 3 rounds. It doesn't stop them. I think it's more the idea of you're more in control of what's going to happen through the stages of a game because you have the option to use it all the time. Yes or no?
Well,
Yeah, so the average, right, by the way, is round 4. So that's like if you took all the rounds where it happened and then divided it by the games, most of the kills are happening in the first third of the S&D maps.
Early
I would-
fill outs,
Because people are not back pocketing with the stupid fucking 2 life rule and they're just burning it right away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's going to change as time goes on. The meta is going to that's kind of what we're describing here. Is I think the meta is going to change on that end.
That was like when I said I think they're being too restrictive. Like I just think so in 5v5. Like that's why the 5v5 like
totally
Chris Simp ran the sniper, right? Because you still had 4 people to be aggressive. Nowadays you'll never see an SMG with a sniper because the theory behind it is you lose a lot of map pressure when your SMG has it because then your ARs aren't picking up that positioning. And currently when you have the snipers, you're not having a counter sniper usually, so that sniper is able to reign free while also having the map pressure that you get with your SMGs. So you have no negatives when you don't have somebody counter sniping against you. So you just need that to be able to limit it. In World War II, that was probably the easiest.
Well, the
thing
negative
in
is
the
a blind counter.
Yeah.
The negative is a blind counter. It's just like you smoke out the sniper. He's irrelevant. Now we have a numbers advantage in a fight.
yeah, but
And
I
then
think
last
so.
in
What
the sniper.
Austin's saying is just kind of like what the pros are fearing. They like potentially with this rule could be making it worse. And
that's what I mean. Like
Exactly,
the easiest sniping game we had in like recent memory was probably World War II. Honestly, like the car was disgusting and it was really easy to quickscope, and that was only 5.5% of the kills. And that game, like,
and we used it the entire map. Remember,
yeah,
there wasn't a 2 life rule
because
I just think like
5.
when everyone's using it, you limit how powerful it actually is because it's easier to counter that.
Yeah. And so what's like the thesis behind the pros and their thought is like, okay, the sniper's oppressive, we don't want it in every round. Well then, okay, our sniper has an unfortunate couple rounds or we get blind countered. Now we're just getting screwed the rest of the map where it's like they're making what they fear potentially. I mean, we'll wait and see how the data develops over time, but potentially what they fear is getting actually like multiplied way worse because of the degree of randomness that's now added. So that's something that I think they should be very aware of going forward. But I'm on page
Yeah, well,
with
they're not.
you,
They're not going to
Austin.
be because again, they're just stubborn and they're children.
I mean, it's just
They
logical
don't like-
thinking, though. Like
They,
just
they,
talking
they don't.
about.
They don't like actually applying logic and patience to these situations, and we see it every fucking year. And I'm so tired of it, bro.
'Cause it's
Like,
not just black and white of like, okay, 2 rounds. All right, that's less sniping. Being okay. Oh, now we're getting screwed. So I hope that they reapproach this. I really do. We'll see.
I hope, but they
Only time
won't.
will tell.
So it's. I hope, but they won't, bro. They won't.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think so.
But all right.
I mean, maybe not right away, but I think over time they will.
All right. Well, we're creeping in
I
on
don't
3
trust these
hours,
pros
guys.
Ever walk back? When
we're
have these
gonna
pros
wrap this
ever
up.
walked back a GA in recent memories?
Well, I walk back snaking.
Other
I
than the
just start
last time they had
snaking.
snipers and they got publicly pressured, they just don't, bro. They just don't do it until they prove they can do it. I'm out and believing that they're gonna get any shit done on this in the positive fashion.
And I'm gonna wrap this up. Yo, appreciate all you guys coming on today. What an episode! 3 hours, bro. This was late.
Damn.
We
That was
covered. That was fun.
I enjoyed this.
Yeah, Ray, you are the man, bro. Thank you for coming on, dude. A lot of great insight today. Great conversations. Can we get a W, Ray, in the chat? Also,
I'm not pressing, but if you want me on every show, I'm here.
dude. Next week if you're available,
need
we'll
to.
bring
Make
you
this
on.
a regular thing. I'm here.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun, bro. And I think chat really
The
enjoyed it.
only thing, and we've talked about it. We haven't talked about it since we did the last show, but next 2 shows we're gonna do here, and then at Major 2 we're doing a live show with Hector
Major 1
in Texas. Major 1. Sorry, I don't know. I said Major 2.
Yes, we will
Major 1 live show.
be doing a live show.
That's
That'll be lit.
I'll see you guys, Major, and I'll be there.
Oh yeah.
Nice, right?
You gonna be there on Tuesday of that week?
No, I will not be there Tuesday. I'm flying in on the Wednesday. Sorry.
Oh, good.
I might be able to change that if it's something that we want to take advantage of.
Yeah, we were gonna record on Tuesday. We'll talk on the
Yeah,
side.
we're gonna do something
Yeah, we
early
can talk.
today.
Yeah.
All right, appreciate everybody tuning in. Much love. If you're watching on YouTube, leave a like. Helps the show a lot. And we'll catch you guys